here. Want one?
Oh, thank you.
Mm-hmm. It was worth it.
Oh man, this is incredible.
Oh, wow.
Huh?
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
It is pretty cool. Hey man, grab me a meat stick. I think I can reach it if I just a little more. Just let me go a little. I can't. Just a little more. I almost got it. Careful! Oh God! No, come on, just reach. Just grab my hand. Grab my hand.
Give me the meat stick. This other hand's closer. The one with the stick is. Oh. What am I supposed to say?
It doesn't matter. He's dead. He ain't listening to you anyway.
I'm hungry.
No. Put it away. I can't watch it. Oh, crap. Just reach in. You gotta pull it. Just grab it. Just take it out of his hand. You just can't. What do you mean you can't?
He won't let go.
What do you mean he won't let go? He's dead.
Help me. Get in there. No, just hold on.
Make him let go of it. No, I got you covered. Just go in for a hug. Go and get on in there. It's a bad loss. Yeah, hug him up. Just reach. Hug him up.
He's breathing. I think it's on the other side.
Go.
I can't.
Just-
I can't do it.
Help me, Lord. Help me get over this loss.
I can't breathe.
Yeah, I can't breathe. I'm so upset. I can't breathe. Stop. You knock on wood so they go to heaven. It's like a lucky. Hey, get the stick.
Yeah.
Hey, do you the meat stick?
Yeah, I got it.
Hey, just hold tight for a second. They're moving the casket. Just hold tight.
Yeah, that's no worries. I got it.
Oh, what an awesome day for a pump, dude.
Yeah, I gotta take it easy. Doc says if I exert myself, I will die.
You overexert yourself, you will die.
I'll tell you what, you finish the workout, all these could be yours. That looks good. A little bit of honey ham for the ham. Get after it, and that's your, nope, get after it, and that's your treat. Hey, do the exercise, do the work, then you get the reward. That's how this works, man. You gotta give it max effort, maximum effort. That's what I'm talking about, baby. Big hams. Make it work, those hams. Work them. Putting in the work. Yeah, baby. Yes. Dude, this is a spicy workout. Gotta make it worth it. Building the beef and bringing home the bacon, baby. I'm loving it. Teriyaki is just about within your reach. Come on, get you some. Come on. Ooh, ooh. Maximum effort. Maximum effort. You're there. You're almost there.
That's so worth it.
What do you make of this up here? Just showed up in the yard a couple days
Is a
ago.
dog been digging in there?
I don't think so, dude. That goes way down in there. Seriously, did you just lose your meat stick?
Yeah.
Oh, no. There's something in there, dude. Just leave it.
Are you kidding me?
We'll just head to the house. Just leave it.
The hell with that.
Oh, yeah, there's something in there.
Want one?
Thank you.
It was worth it.
Oh, man, this is incredible.
Wow.
Huh?
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
It is pretty cool. Hey, man, grab me a meat stick. I think I can reach it if I just a little more. Just let me go a little. I can't. Just a little more. I almost got it. Careful! Oh, God. No, come on, just reach. Reach. Just grab my hand. I can't hold it. Grab my hand.
Give me the meat stick. This other hand's closer. The one with the stick is. Oh. What am I supposed to say?
It doesn't matter. He's dead. He ain't listening to you anyway.
I'm hungry.
No. Put it away. I can't put it. Oh, crap. Just reach in. You gotta pull it. Just grab it. Just take it out of his hand. You just can't. What do you mean you can't?
He won't let go.
What do you mean he won't let go? He's dead.
Help me. Get in there. No, just hold on.
Make him let go of it. No, I got you covered. Just go in for a hug. Go and get on in there. It's a bad loss. Yeah, hug him up. Just reach. Hug him up.
He's breathing. I think it's on the other side.
Go.
I can't.
Just-
I can't do it.
Help me, Lord. Help me get over this loss.
I can't breathe.
Yeah, I can't breathe. I'm so upset. I can't breathe. Stop. You knock on wood so they go to heaven. It's like a lucky. Hey, get the stick.
Yeah.
Hey, do you the meat stick?
Yeah, I got it.
Hey, just hold tight for a second. They're moving the casket. Just hold tight.
Yeah, that's no worries. I got it.
Oh, what an awesome day for a pump, dude.
Yeah, I gotta take it easy. Doc says if I exert myself, I will die.
You overexert yourself, you will die.
I'll tell you what. You finish the workout, all these could be yours. That looks good. A little bit of honey ham for the ham. Get after it, and that's your get after it, and that's your treat. Stay. Do the exercise, do the work, then you get the reward. That's how this works, man. You gotta give it max effort, maximum effort. That's what I'm talking about, baby. Big hams. Make it work, those hams. Work 'em. Putting in the work. Yeah, baby. Yes. Dude, this is a spicy workout. Gotta make it worth it. Building the beef and bringing home the bacon, baby. I'm loving it. Teriyaki is just about within your reach. Come on, get you some. Come on. Ooh, ooh. Maximum effort. Maximum effort. You're there. You're almost there.
That's so worth it.
What do you make of this up here? Just showed up in the yard a couple days ago.
Dog been digging in there?
I don't think so, dude. That goes way down in there. Seriously, did you just lose your meat stick?
Yeah.
Oh, no. There's something in there, dude. Just leave it.
Are you kidding me?
We'll just head to the house. Just leave it.
The hell with that.
Oh, yeah. There's something in there. Ah!
Want one?
Thank you.
It was worth it.
Oh, man, this is incredible.
Oh, wow.
Huh?
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
It is pretty cool. Hey, man, grab me a meat stick. I think I can reach it if I just a little more. Just let me go a little. I can't. Just a little more. I almost got it. Careful! Oh, God. No, come on, just reach. Reach. Just grab my hand. I can't hold it. Grab my hand.
Give me the meat stick. This other hand's closer. The one with the stick is...
Oh.
What am I supposed to say?
It doesn't matter. He's dead. He ain't listening to you anyway.
I'm hungry.
No. Put it away. I can't put it. Oh, crap. Just reach in. You gotta pull it. Just grab it. Just take it out of his hand. You just can't. What do you mean you can't?
He won't let go.
What do you mean he won't let go? He's dead.
Help me. Get in there. No, just hold on.
Make him let go of it. No, I got you covered. Just go in for a hug. Go and get on in there. It's a bad loss. Yeah, hug him up. Just reach. Hug him up.
He's breathing.
On the other side.
It's time to kick things off, ladies and gentlemen, in 2025. A new format, new Summer's Rift, new NECC. Welcome to week one of a very long Swiss stage coming for the National Esports Collegiate Conference. And what a way to kick it off with our premier matchup. Ole Miss taking on Winthrop. It's going to be myself, Slayer, and the awesome, dashing Shibby alongside me for such an awesome way to start out. Just collegiate in general, it feels like, Shibby.
Yeah, El Clasico matchup, I'll say, for the NECC Week 1 banger. Like you mentioned, new Swiss stage, couple new rules, even the ever-coveted CLOL Championship that will be here coming in a couple months has also got some new rules and stuff like that. So a lot of new things to play with. I know, this is your first time, I believe, on the NECC, Slayer, at least for a while, and so I think it's a very good introduction. I think these two teams got some new rosters, got some new players to showcase for the CLOL season. If you guys have been living under a rock, both of these teams have been rapidly announcing players on their Twitter in different methods. One of their players for Ole Miss has been eating cereal in the shower, though, so I don't know if that's actually a good pickup. Ooh. We'll see just yet.
I don't know. That is a wild pickup, nonetheless. These rosters, like you mentioned, though, pretty new. And we'll move on looking at both the sides here. Obviously, Winthrop taking on Ole Miss. You got the rosters below here. And the big name that sticks out, at least to me, on the side of Ole Miss is Keel. Going to be stepping in jungle here. Just such a power pick here for Ole Miss. And I'm glad we're already getting to see what Keel can do in this lineup, with Ole Miss looking to chase those, like you mentioned, CLOL Championship aspirations.
Yeah, Ole Miss have a bit of a deeper roster this year. They picked up Keel and Shochi, former academy players or tier 2 players, and has really kind of rounded out their roster a bit here. Obviously, Asilla as well, a new addition, but we did get to see him play in the ACL or the Aegis Champions League earlier last year, and they did pretty well, all things considered, right, Slayer? You were a caster for that league officially.
Yes.
And I think they looked pretty good with Asilla in the mid lane. Adds a different flavor than when they had Uncle Sam, who has now pieced out to Florida and is doing what he's doing over there. But not to be underestimated, Winthrop just quickly, I believe it was yesterday, like at 10 p.m. at night or something like that, they announced Only 35 as their support player. He comes from the Turkish region, the TCL. I don't know if it's necessarily a one-for-one upgrade over Chookies. We'll just have to wait and see. But I believe, Artemis, you asked some questions. They're really excited for this new iteration of their roster, even though they only have really replaced one piece. Wilson was Wakao, who was Trickster, by the way. Don't be fooled, guys.
Yeah, so we're in a new era of switching around for the Winthrop jungler. It is the same person. Yeah, it does sound like Artemis is very pleased with what he's seen from Only 35 stepping in here, and he really preached the fact that they're trying to establish an identity of always looking for proactive plays and trying to, even if they're playing from behind, which in the new season could happen pretty quickly, if I may mention. They are always looking for ways back in, but we are looking, it sounds like, to go into our Game 1 draft here. It's important to mention that we're not doing anything too crafty, you know. There's a lot of fearless talk floating around. If you're talking Tier 1, Tier 2, obviously, if you're an NA fan. Nope, we are just straight up best of 3, standard draft, and Ole Miss will start on that blue side.
Is it a potentially hot take to say I'm kind of tired of Fearless? I got in some deep water earlier this week.
I saw some of it. I was
Yeah.
scrolling the thread. I'm like, oh boy, Shibby, what did you do?
Yeah. Okay, I'm not tired of Fearless, but it is nice to have both formats, right? To have a little bit of variety, which is the spice of life here. Will be really interesting for these two teams to kind of face off. I know in ACL, where Ole Miss was playing, it was Fearless. I believe it was full Fearless as well.
Yes.
So will be different. I think it will be a lot easier for players like Asilla, who have been integrating into the new roster. They don't have to show as deep of a champion pool, as well as players like Only 35, who arguably, like we said, announced yesterday. Don't know how long he's actually officially been with the team, but I will say probably for some time they have been trying to get him over. How many scrims he's had, all that kind of stuff. That stuff we just unfortunately don't have that information. So both of these guys, I would argue both of these squads benefiting from the normal style draft, at least initially.
I would agree with you, Shibby. Also, speaking of champions, normal style drafting, obviously it's been a while since we've seen League of Legends on the NECC. There's been a couple champions added. The only one that will not be available for these two teams is Mel. It is a 5-day window period before you can bring them on to an official match. We have not reached that. We're close, though, so we won't get to see the latest Arcane to League of Legends crossover. Everyone else, though, like Ambessa, Aurora, are available. As we've spent through these first phase of bans here, Ziggs, Rel, and Victor taken away from Ole Miss, and Winthrop can get rid of the Kog'Maw, Jace, and Rumble. And I've been watching a lot of LPL. The one champion that has 100% ban rate in the LPL right now is Skarner, and it escapes through an Ole Miss jump right on top.
You haven't just been watching it, Slayer. You've been casting it, and it's been really, really cool. Like you said, Skarner, pretty much globally recognized as an OP power pick, very similar to last season where he was an OP power pick, played in the jungle, was playing in the top as well, flexed. And the thing with Ole Miss, and the thing that I've always liked about him, and it's been an identity that they've had since they've introduced Colomer into their team all that time ago, is that they've always got some sort of angle with certain picks. They've got the ability to flex it to multiple different areas, right? Rhino being one of those guys that has a massive, massive champion pool that he's willing to flex here. Keel, somebody that I know has played a handful of champions, right? As the new specialist himself. So I'm sure that Keel adds another dimension to the playfulness, I would say, of Ole Miss and their ability to flex all these certain picks here. But like you said, we're going to the draft here. The Cassante Zyra traded for Winthrop. They've got 2 power picks themselves, I would argue. But a new champion, like you mentioned, one of the ones that was recently released before Mel, Ambessa has been able to sneak through along with Corki. So Asilla, I think he'll be piloting this Corki mid lane, but like I said, with Ole Miss, could just be Shogo playing it himself.
Yeah, I would definitely hold out for the Ambessa maybe going mid here. Don't be shocked if we see an Ambessa mid. You maybe see the Corki shift bottom lane. I think Ole Miss have a lot of flexibility. I'm just really a fan of this Ole Miss draft, mainly for the point that I'm a big Keel guy. I think you put Keel on a really overtuned champion by regards and competitive. And also, as Skarner, we were expecting Keel to be like one of the louder voices. It's natural as that jungler, especially in the early game. It's so easy with Skarner to really create. So we're really going to see Keel's playmaking that made him so famous in the NACL when we were last able to see him. Ezreal rounds out the pick, though, for Winthrop, so we're going to see mobility slot into that one. And now we're just starting to target bans here. Looks like Winthrop do believe this Corki is going bottom lane, and Stray will take the Ambessa with the fact they are targeting 2 mages off the board with those second phase of bans.
Yeah, two of Asila's best champions, right? The Syndra specifically, that guy was an absolute menace during the ACL. I think arguably one of his best champions. I felt like it was an auto win when he'd be able to pick it up. The Orianna being removed as well. So yeah, like you said, they believe this Corki is going to go into that bottom lane here. And I'm surprised that they were actually willing to ban the Leona away. I just personally don't think Leona Ezreal's that good of a bottom lane duo. And I don't think you want to play something like that into Shogo Rhino, because you know these guys are going to pick something lane dominant, lane aggressive. The players may have changed, but I highly doubt, at least in the early games for NECC, that the identity of Ole Miss has changed here. Shogo is going to be their prolific carry in that bottom lane, but like I said, it just adds a little bit more flexibility. And this is a champion that Asila has been brought out when his champion pool has been pinched. The Lissandra setup, he's very, very good, got a real good keen eye for engages, and he's got to play in that more supportive mid lane style, somewhat similar to Uncle Sam last year, but maybe he's just got better hands, better mechanics. He's also just really effective on this Lissandra.
Yeah, we Colomer talked about it for a while when Ole Miss announced all the way back into the last summer, because Ole Miss obviously after collegiate didn't participate in any major events until the fall. That they were scouting thousands of people. He claimed there were so many people coming in to try to play mid lane, but Asila stood out to him immediately. Been committed to this guy ever since. Lissandra pick going to come through in his first game in the NECC. And look at these 2 comps across the board, Shibby, before we go into the game here. It's pretty clear cut. We're getting your classic Ole Miss are running at you. Winthrop are trying to survive and turn it, because that is the only way you can play these 2 comps the way I've seen them drafted.
Yeah, and I love Sword on this pick specifically. Hey, I think it really fits his wheelhouse. He was one of the better Nikos when we used to watch him play last year. I think also these artillery mages, these long-range mages that he can play, right? The Victor being banned away from him, the Ziggs potentially, that could have been flexed to the bottom and mid lane. Sword has been one of those mid laners to me that has really thrived in CLOL. Ever since his transition back into mid lane, he was a support player for a little bit, and I think he's been really, really good. I think this is going to be a good test for Asila, specifically in the mid lane. One of your top rivals, one of the guys that you expect to go head-to-head with in the grand finals, even if you lose this week 1 matchup. So playing against him, getting the better here, definitely puts a bit of pressure on Ole Miss, and specifically their mid lane here. Because right now, to me, Winthrop, keeping 4 out of their 5 pieces, bringing in a very talented support player in only 35, you've got a lot less pressure. A lot of things come a lot easier, right, when it's into the beginning of the season, when you keep a majority of your pieces. But Ole Miss are playing with 2 players that haven't really played with each other and haven't really integrated with the squad as well as they'd like, I think.
And it's a focal point as well, because that is in that mid jungle, which you talk about a lot as arguably the biggest spot you want for synergy in a team here. Maybe jungle support, I would wane a little bit towards, because of the engaged nature of both Rhino and Keel's kit in this one. But we are on to Summoner's Rift for the first time in 2025 for the NECC. Welcome to Noxus, collegiate fans. As we, speaking on that early game power, Shibby, it's important now to have those conversations. Otacon, we're going to have to watch out for. It's been a ton of different splits, especially between the 2 types of Otacon. Curious which one we're going to get here, because if you're talking solo queue, before we move the patch over, it was all Ruinous. And in most competitive leagues, it was all Voracious, the revive one. So I'm curious to see how it looks for the NECC. It is a bit more balanced out now that we know that feats of strength goals are a little bit more slower paced, and the game does feel a bit slower from what I've seen in the short couple of days we've had.
Yeah, it just depends, right? Because when you get, obviously, into the lower tiers of play, I'll say below Tier 1, Tier 2, Collegian, all that stuff, games do tend to be a bit more volatile unless the champions kind of dictate a very slow-paced game. But you look at kind of the characters that are on the side of Ole Miss, the champions, right? Nautilus, Corki, Lissandra, they want to get active. I'm pretty sure we're going to see Asila roam down to bot as soon as possible, right? The moment he gets the wave shoved in, he's going to disappear. He's going to, remove himself from the map. You look at Winthrop's side, they want to play a lot slower paced of a game. Wakao wants to farm on this Zyra. We've also seen Sword and Mobility on, Hwei, Ezreal. Definitely want to get the poke war started, the attrition war started around these objectives. So they're completely fine waiting and playing that long game for potentially the revive version of Otacon.
Did see some early aggression there for Mobility and only 35. Able to get the push going there so far. It's both junglers clearing top down. Keel onto his last camp, but Wakao on that Zyra, pretty good at this power farm. Is going to try and hover towards this bottom lane. I would assume just set the reset before Keel can really get down there, and we'll see both junglers try and start playing for the Monster Slayer stacks, but Wakao's definitely hanging around for a bit.
Yeah, I mean, he definitely has the time advantage here. Is Stray and Denethor getting active right now, and Denethor low on mana. Like, look at Stray. It's off energy. It doesn't matter. He can keep going in this lane for as long as possible. And they have to know that Wakao path bot. He hasn't shown top. There hasn't been any pings or anything like that. So Stray using that, knowledge or perceived knowledge to play a little bit more aggressively up in this lane, get this lane shoved in, and potentially look for a back here.
Should be able to crash. Maybe looking, teasing a proxy, which would have been a little bit crazy nonetheless to go for. Did see Sword TP's back to mid lane with still pretty comfortable on mana and HP, so could hold a TP advantage here if any fights decide to break out. But both junglers picking towards this top side. Think we're in for a potential 2v2 the way things are going. Keel was pinging like a potential dive, but now is going to back up towards his camps as Denethor uses all of his mana to get a HP advantage over Stray.
Yeah, Keel did a good job tracking enemy jungler. They pinged out Wakao on his Krugs. Stray should know. He still is going to play a little bit more aggressive. I don't think he expects him, especially with that ward bush there, keeping him safe here. So both junglers resigned to just power farming their ways through here. So we might end up getting the revive version of Otacon here. I know it's based off of kills and damage. They haven't actually released the exact numbers, which is a little annoying, but yeah. I think we can just kind of safely assume, at least for hopefully for the next 10 minutes, right? Because it does kind of dictate what happens around the 14-minute mark.
And it is, important to remember that while Skarner definitely can create in the early game, definitely want access to that Impale. We try and set up for some of these ganks in the lane. Expect to see Keel be the most proactive one with a power farming jungler on the other side. Only 35 is going for a League of Legends classic here with the lane gank. Gonna throw up the wall into a dredge line from Rhino. Wakao is nearby, and Ole Miss maybe sensing it once more. Don't want to over-invest for the Braum, and Wakao will show and back off. And Keel's gonna use all this time, I believe, to just try to sneak this dragon on. Oh no, he got out through the dragon pit. I was gonna say that would be a gutty call to just do dragon. I'm just spotting Wakao down there.
Well, it might have worked, right? They didn't actually see anybody go down. Wakao not willing to check the dragon pit, but yeah, I think it's too risky. You don't really go for those plays, especially no need to right now. You don't feel like you're super far behind. Rhino's also holding the wave here as mobility and only 35. I'm gonna go for a back here. I love this. Look, love it. Love him just pulling the wave there. Maybe looking for a roam mid. We're going to see both supports probably look here. Grubs is up, and honestly, I might just give it over to Ole Miss if they can get the positioning down, but it looks like they are getting shoved in both in the mid lane and the top side, as well as Wilson has already shown up here. He's going to get his plants set up, and once those thorns go down, once all the plants start getting set up, it's really difficult to fight into.
Only ultimate's going to be available for both of these mid laners. Neither junglers have ticked over. Top laners as well, as they'll make their way down here. Seems like both our collegiate squads have marked the Grubs as the big fight. Remember to keep in mind, we are on 25-2, so First Blood does not grant one of those feats of strength. First 3 kills now going to do that, so maybe that's why the game's a bit slower, as the Grubs are going to be started up by Winthrop. First one secured. In comes Keel. Hey. 2 secured over Winthrop. Dredgeline going to be interrupted by Denethor. They're just going to stack the damage onto Rhino. It's pandemonium as everyone's flying on in. Public execution for Stray. Gets him one back. Denethor, though, is going to turn onto Keel. Stray gets a Braum stack. Passive stun over as Asilla has to flash away from Sword and only 35. One more auto. There is Asilla caught in place and going to be burned down by Sword. That's the feat of warfare claimed as Winthrop blow open 3 kills in our opening fight.
And you mentioned the first 3 kills gives them the feats of strength. Well, they've got one ticked off already. Massive amounts of AoE damage from Winthrop. Ole Miss throwing bodies on bodies into that fight. And just the combination of Hui and Zyra specifically, the plants, the ultimate, just a ton of damage going down there. Ole Miss could not find the picks needed. They threw their bodies, life on the line, are only able to get 1 kill back there. Crucially, 2 kills going over to Denethor in that top side and 1 going into Sword's hand. That's really, really good. Winthrop solo laners have been the kind of focal point for this team for a very long time, right? Sword and Denethor seem to dictate how the team's flow of the game goes along with Wilson here. That's perfect. It really plays into what their perceived playstyle has been for a long time, especially with Ezreal Braum in that bottom lane. You want those kills going to your solo lanes.
You really need the kills on your tanks as well in a composition like this, as we talked about in the draft. Ole Miss, even if they're behind, are going to have to look to play aggressively with all the engaged tools. So if you could get Denethor tanky really quickly, it becomes very problematic. Those go buttons are a little bit more hesitant because you don't want to throw them all into this Cassante and allow for mobility, Sword, and Wilson to kind of build up time. We got some action going here as the Glacial Tomb's going to lock up. There's the mid-jungle combination from Ole Miss. Do they have enough to kill off Sword here now? Cooldowns be damned. Keel is going to find the kill onto Sword. Two new guys for the Ole Miss roster stepping up to find themselves a solo kill.
Nice pick onto Sword. Tons of CC there, and that's kind of how their comp will function. Now, later into the game, you'll understand why that's really good, because Shogo is going to be dumping a ton of damage onto whoever gets Lissandra ulted, right? Mbessa, who's probably going to look to isolate whoever gets ulted there. You can see how the comp kind of works if they can find someone out there, but that lack of damage, a little bit scary, right? Sword almost got away with the 1-for-1 onto Asilla there. They're able to just sneak that out, and Wilson is looking in this bottom side. Was starting the Dragon. Is going to probably go back to it, but I don't know if Winthrop's bottom lane have the HP to really help him out here. This could be an advantageous fight for Ole Miss if Wilson looks to restart this Dragon here. Good look from Ole Miss, keeping the gold even. That mid lane pick, especially, like you mentioned, tankiness going on the Denethor's side, but Skarner is a menace with tank items. That guy just refuses to die.
It's going to happen. It feels inevitable by this point. I'm glad you brought up the Dragon take, because while that fight was a win for Winthrop towards the grub pit, Ole Miss were able to steal away the last grub, so nobody's actually any closer to the Monster Slayer goal by this point. We're still at 0s apiece, so that Dragon becomes a bit more tasty. But going back towards that comms, you know, obviously Ole Miss, a lot of changes, 2 new players in the starting lineup right now, but I find it kind of poetic that we're still in this draft leaning on Shogo being the main damage dealer when we get to those big fights. That's the Ole Miss of the past, I remember.
I mean, if it ain't broke, don't fix it, right? It's not like Shogo's skill has necessarily degraded, and adding some new players, having a guy like that in the bottom lane, having him on a pick like Corki, I think, who's going to pump out tons of damage, come 2-3 items into these team fights. Yeah, that's all reliable, right? You always go to that. And it's going to be up to Keel and Asilla to set those picks up for Stray and Shogo. I think the cool thing is that we see Stray on kind of some more carry-orientated picks. I think last year, when he was kind of brought in, was kind of a, I'm not going to say Renekton merchant, but definitely played a ton of Rennie. You know, Cassante, Scion, we saw him pop in. I didn't really get to see him on a ton of like hard carry, you know, AD damage-focused picks here. But Stray on this Mbessa, definitely a new flavor for this squad. And I think, you know, that's what they want to do with a player like him, right? Former Worlds player, played, you know, in international competition, as we do see a fight coming in.
Root in Fearland, so Keel cannot use that Ixtal impact to get anywhere close. As we have another dance at the Grub Pit. Dredge can land for Rhino. They do have Wilson locked up. Mobility flying over the wall. Rhino's losing HP quickly, and Wilson escapes as Denethor TP's in. The Golden Eagles fly to the rescue of their jungler, and they're going to get a kill and stop another Monster Slayer stack. But here goes the top laner from Ole Miss. The Land Sharks find and sink their teeth into Sword. Impale onto 2. Oh, Denethor somehow gets interrupted. Only gets dragged back, but not enough damage. Straight trying to cook on the front line of the fight as Shogo has a low mana bar. Can't get the damage out. Denethor is going to pull and execute Stray off to the side, giving Winthrop the slight edge in the extended fight.
Mention it, Ole Miss biting off a little more they could chew. They could have just been, you know, accepting of the 1-for-1, trading Rhino for Sword there. Again, you saw how that comp worked. Lissandra ult into Mbessa, into just unload as much damage as you can. But those extended fights, especially with Shogo's low mana bar, they just did not have the juice to keep going, while Winthrop, Denethor being the hero, pulling Mbessa away from their team here, and all the while mobility firing into Ole Miss. Both these teams really showing the strengths of their team compositions in these fights. I think we've seen a very good display of what these guys can do.
Getting a very interesting display of build paths as we do see Winthrop. I think they were spotted trying to go for this dragon, but they're not going to be contested. So finally we get a Monster Slayer stack. It's going to be the first one going over to Winthrop. But, you know, here's an interesting point, Chibi, that I wanna pick your brain about. Corki and Ezreal are known as two champions that are tied together because usually their build paths are identical, at least in the opening minutes. That is a Bloodthirster rush from Shogo on the Corki.
Yeah, tons of AD. The lifesteal, the shield might actually be the difference in some of these fights. With the amount of AoE and things you can hit right in this game, specifically the Zyra plants provide a little bit of lifesteal. I think it's not
yet.
No tier, nothing like that. He's going to go for a much different build. Is Keel? Did he manage to steal that red away? What will it cost? Just a flash.
He flashed, though, for an engaged tool of Ole Miss. Going to buy a bit more breathing room for the next 5 minutes for Winthrop. And, hey, only 35. The new guy on the block for the Golden Eagles might look to push the tempo. Teleport coming behind, though, for Wilson. And only 35. He flashes, but the public execution just drags straight into all three. Stranglethorns have to be used defensively for Winthrop as they'll back off safely.
Yeah, that's that USPS TP, bro. 10 business days and we'll get into that tri-bush. Just wasn't fast enough. It's unfortunate because I think the new TP changes are still a little rough for a lot of teams and how they want to play around these fights. Definitely dissuades Winthrop off of this top lane turret, which will give 1 feat of strength over to Ole Miss. And right now we're tied 1 for 1. And the only way either of these teams can get those upgraded boots is to, like you said, get 3 neutral objectives for themselves here. And because the Grubs were split 3-3 apiece, but it was a 2-1 split both ways, it's going to be 3 dragons, I believe, correct?
Or a Rift Herald. If Herald's
or a Rift Herald.
I've seen games where Otacon's actually been the deciding for Monster Slayer as well. And like you were alluding to earlier, Shibby, we have 8 kills in about 14 minutes. I'm pretty confident at 20 minutes we're locked into Voracious Otacon being the first Otacon of the NECC seasons. And that is definitely, regardless if those boot upgrades be damned, man. The revive is what everyone's going to come to play for, and the boot upgrade might just be a consolation prize.
Yeah, for sure here, and I'd love to see how these teams kind of navigate these Otacon fights as well. I've seen a lot of teams struggle around playing with that extra barrier, the vision, setting up for these fights. A lot of these guys, I've seen a lot of Otacons get stolen randomly. I don't know if that's just like a symptom of it being a new jungle monster or a new epic monster. A lot of these guys don't know how to properly zone away enemy jungler from the objective because it's always in such an awkward spot.
Yeah.
Right? Whether it's top or bottom lane.
It's like, it's the only objective where minions can reveal if you're taking it because they just rock up. And the AoE damage, Otacon does damage similar to Baron. It drops your resistances, it shreds you with AoE. It's hard for a lot of marksmen to stand outside the range of Otacon. It is as much, if not more of a gamble than trying to randomly start a Baron. This is not like taking a Dragon, taking a Rift Herald. You need to plan accordingly or you will throw a game trying to get that revive.
Yeah, and I've seen plenty of games thrown away in the LPL over Otacon here.
Oh boy.
Both teams posturing around this mid lane here. A 1-3-1 split. Nothing new. As things change in League of Legends, many things stay the same here, but Shogo beautifully pushing in this mid lane, has a CS lead for himself as well. Really, really good. What else can we expect from him on this Corki? As well as Stray, 2-1-0, has the Black Cleaver in hand, so that, you know, Frostborn Gauntlet that Denethor built, the resistance that he has, will get shredded in some of these longer extended lane trades. But like you mentioned, Rift Herald has arrived, and it's one of those crucial objectives that's going to bring these guys to that boot upgrade, to those feats of strength. We're tied at 1-1 apiece. Right now, Winthrop does have the 1-0 lead on the neutral objective challenge. And if they get this Rift Herald, they'll just be one more away from those oh-so-succulent boot upgrades.
Guys, I promise we can fight in other parts of the map besides Top River, okay? It's possible. We're shifting towards mid lane. That's a good start. Is the setup from Rhino into the Impale. That is the engage that Ole Miss are leaning on. Denethor's trying to fly in as the big hero, but he TP's behind. He's going to use the all-out, but Stray's going to follow him with the public execution. Ascilla picks up the double kill, but here comes the turn from Winthrop. Can Denethor do it again with his 2 carries behind him? Health be damned, depleting rapidly. But it seems like we're going to end with a 2-2 split. Both these teams struggling to find an edge in this one.
And it's so tough for Ole Miss, right? Because they kind of burned all their cooldowns onto Wilson here, right? The Lissandra ultimate, the Mbessa ult. But if if both of Sword and Mobility survive, it feels like Winthrop can just easily turn those fights. They have such a massive range advantage. The amount of poke, the AoE coming out from Sword. These kills will allow Ole Miss to pick up this Rift Herald pretty much uncontested, I want to say, as the TP comes in from Asilla here. But I feel like Ole Miss, they need to focus in on either Mobility or Sword with that Lissandra and Bessa combo that they're willing to rip so easily. Because if they don't get one of those guys, Winthrop can just easily turn the fight. It's happened twice now.
It's happened twice now. I want to go back to what you said earlier, New NECC format, new League of Legends, new Ole Miss and Winthrop, but some things never change. And so far through one game, it's Denethor, the hero for Winthrop so many times, looking to be the pivotal piece. And Shogo, on the other side, farmed up better than anybody else. Still flawless in his scoreline, the only one with a bounty. Some things just don't change about these two schools. Oh my god. Wow. Denethor's trying to hold Gil and Asilla at bay with this Herald play. Impale's going to come across, though, at max range, and Keel is just better. Finds Denethor. That is a huge shutdown to the Ole Miss jungler. On the backside, Winthrop do grab a dragon, but boy, was it costly in the gold department. And if they're not careful, Winthrop might find their time back here. Stray getting poked down, Mobility just letting Mr. going to flash with the W to guarantee the kill out of Stray. Keel has to flash over a Glacial Fisher. So once again, it's Winthrop waiting their time and finding advantages at the end of these fights.
Long, drawn, extended fights. Mobility on the chase with this Ezreal has that Triforce completed. Will soon have Manamune in his back pocket. Tears almost fully stacked. He's got the Caulfield Hammer. I mean, he's just salivating for the 2-item power spike here, and it was a little bit tough. Denethor was whittled down over, 20 seconds, as we do get that Otacon spawning in the top side, and yeah, I mean, this is going to be a tough objective for these guys to kind of play around here, as now it's spawned up. Really cool spawn animation. I think they did work, right?
Yeah, they did. They did. And there's Voracious Otacon, like we talked about. The revive buff available. It lasts for 150 seconds. And if you die, you give over, I believe now, 200 gold instead of 100.
It's not 100.
Gold.
Yeah.
So a little bit more costly, but still, it's still a revive. Less gold. You don't give shutdowns over. Very powerful.
Oh, yeah, 100%, right? Being able to just kind of respawn back onto the map, especially if you're one of those solo laners says, wait a minute.
Just too far up. This is a cleanseless Ezreal. Just gets caught. Stranglethorn's down, but the Impale comes across from Keel. Mobility waiting for his Arcade Shift to come up, and it never does. Good pick found from Ole Miss once more, right as Otacon is for the taking. You can see Shogo. He's calling for it. On the ward, doesn't matter. Ole Miss want the revive.
Let's see if Winthrop look to contest this here. Is a W going over to Otacon. That might look to bite Shogo in the back here. They want to contest this. TPs are coming in. It's a 4v4. Wait, 5v4 now.
Here comes Stray. Denethor trying to lead. Asilla caught off to the side. Has to dash out to safety. Otacon below 5k. Shredding through those resistances. Keel at about half HP. Denethor looking for a way in, but Rhino's going to hold the rest of his team at bay. Who's going to grab the Otacon? Keel's going to go down before he can get it. Denethor steals it. He executes the starter, steals the big buff, and breaks the game wide open once again for the Golden Eagles. Massive play from your staple Winthrop top laner.
How many times do I have to see this? How many times do I have to see Otacon being thrown away here? Winthrop pick it up off the back of Denethor, like you mentioned. They're able to take down Keel. Smite not available, and then it just becomes a 50-50. Winthrop coming up on top, and that might just be the objective that swings it in their favor here. Like you mentioned, the revive passive, oh so
feats.
Strong.
They got feats off
as
that
well.
too.
Yeah, they got the feats off of that as well. They've got the upgraded boots. I mean, they've just got a massive gold swing. I know it looks even right now, but with that revive passive plus the extra boot upgrades, they're easily like 1,000 to 2,000 gold ahead, right? It doesn't show on the display board, but they're definitely in the driver's seat right now.
They got the dragon stacking on their side as well. It's a little bit slower than you expect from Season 14. That's just everything different on the Rift happening, but 2-0 in the Dragons right now, and they have arguably two of the best scaling champions. Three of the four best scaling champions on their side. Cassante is going to be so unkillable. Zyra's damage is exponential. Hui damage exponential as well. But it's all through Denethor, man. The tried and true captain of this team for so many splits. He's just seems to be leveling up year after year, and the NECC showing it in 2025.
Yeah, and it's tough because, Keel and Asilla both used their big ultimate cooldowns to pick off mobility. So that Otacon fight, yeah, it was a man advantage for Ole Miss, but it wasn't a cooldown advantage, right? They were missing two of their big ultimates. So Winthrop can just kind of walk in 4v5, throw a bunch of their abilities down. The massive AoE coming out from Sword and Wakao gets them low enough. And Denethor, like you said, walking tank as this top lane tier 2 is going to get sieged upon here. Winthrop looking to maybe get a fight as well.
Just going to burn through Rhino. They get the knock-up. Only 35 finds a big triple snare comes down as well. And now Winthrop can just blow it open. They've still got the revive, so Denethor, he's flying under turrets. He's not dead. He's going all the way back to base mobility as well. Why not? You've got the revive. 4 kills for nothing for Winthrop as they're just rolling now in game 1.
I love that. Right? Maybe it was a little bit over-aggressive, but you've got the revive passive like you mentioned. Might as well use it to its full benefit.
Stray! He was a half-second late. The public execution would have gotten Wilson, and he did not have the revive.
Yeah, unfortunate there is now Winthrop are going to be able to kind of set up for Dragon, right? It's a nice thing. Oh, we get this fight win in the top side. We instantly respawn. Oh, let's go to Dragon. Let's set up. It feels like Ole Miss, because of that Otacon revive passive, they're not allowed to take their turn. Typically, in an over-aggressive fight like that, if you lose a couple members, you're on respawn timers, Ole Miss can get back out on the map, they can set up for Dragon, but because that respawn happens, Winthrop are just allowed to play another move, right? They're allowed to set up the Dragon because they instantly respawn. It's super, super disgusting, the tempo advantage you get from the voracious Otacon buff.
And now we talked about the lead being there for Winthrop. Not in the gold, but in general, now it is in the gold as well. They are nearly 5,000 up, looking to hanker onto more turrets before Baron even spawns. Remember, new Rift, Season 25. Baron spawns at 25 minutes just now. And the power of these two artillery champions, Ezreal and Hui, even burning through the best of health bars. Keel forced to walk right back to base as Ole Miss try and defend this Tier 2 turret.
Yeah, now the setup looks much more difficult.
Oh, Scylla. Zyra damage. Is it enough? Not yet, but boy. Scylla chunked out once more.
Yeah, and that profile that Ole Miss is going for, that pick composition or like kind of single somebody out, it's a lot more difficult to do because, like I said, if it's not sword, if it's not mobility, if you want to throw all your cooldowns onto Wilson, go ahead, you take him down. Maybe you delay the Baron there, but there's just so much damage being built into these two carries.
Denethor spots out Scylla's teleport, immediately forces a frozen tomb of safety, but Scylla not going to be long for the world. Does dodge out on the Hui ultimate, goes into the stasis, but should fall. Denethor, meanwhile, under the Tier 2 turret, takes only about half of his HP away as he holds the rest of Ole Miss at bay. And Winthrop are just finding pick after pick, answering every play Ole Miss are looking for.
Rockets are chunking out. Only 35 years. Got to be wary of his health bar. They may not be able to take this Tier 2 in the mid lane just yet. They definitely want it. I don't know if it's worth inting your lives away, though, and I think Winthrop correctly understands that. Shogo W's in!
Yeah, here we go. Flash forward from mobility. If there was an opinion wave there, he would have had the outplay. But does burn that key summoner off both of the marksmen with Baron up. And for Ole Miss, that may be a sign of life here. The mobility on that Ezreal going to be a little bit less mobile for that fight.
Still has barrier up, though, so a little bit harder to kill here. And yeah, I need to see how Ole Miss are going to navigate these team fights. Right, it's really on Asilla and Stray to kind of set up the 1-2 punch. While Winthrop, I mean, they can just play the range game. They can siege almost indefinitely. Surely they've got advantage on this Baron. I mean, I talked about that gold lead not showing on the display board here. Well, they're 5,000 gold ahead now. I mean, they're very firmly in the driver's seat if they weren't before here. And it's really tough, especially to fight into the Shogo as well. No flash, so he's got to be really, really careful on his positioning.
You gotta be really afraid of Winthrop if they're deciding to try and burn through your tank is
Kill
the
no
best
flash.
option here. Artillery barrage, true shot barrage, everything coming through. Keel is down, jungler eliminated for Ole Miss, and Shogo
rooted.
gets caught as well by a root. Great play from Wilson. Big bad carry down for the Land Sharks, and now it's just easy pickings for Winthrop. Asilla, Frozen Doom only buys you a couple of seconds. Denethor triple, Baron a freebie for Winthrop.
Beautiful, beautiful team fight. Just kind of throwing their weight around, right? Winthrop knows. Doesn't matter how tanky Keel is. Doesn't matter how slippery somebody like Shogo is. They can just throw their wallets around. They're so far ahead in gold here. And this Baron surely seals the deal for Ole Miss in the ensuing minutes. You got to realize, maybe this comp wasn't it. Maybe we start picking mid lane up early for Asilla because he ended up getting banned out in that second phase by Winthrop, right? Syndra being removed, Orianna being taken away, right? Two of Asilla's arguably best champions. And if they default to this kind of utility style, in the mid lane, is it enough to kind of break through Winthrop's playstyle, right? If they're just willing to kind of sit back, relax, scale up with Hwei, scale up with Ezreal, because like you mentioned, Slayer, we're not in Fearless. These champions can be picked up again if you don't ban them. They're available. Don't worry about it.
Do not worry. Do not fret. I got to give credit over Artemis and the rest of the team for this draft because we talked about it. Skarner is like fully banned out in most Tier 1 leagues right now. Most teams just don't want to even deal with playing against it. But Winthrop maybe showing a blueprint of how to with how many roots, how many concussive stuns they have. It makes it so hard to play any sort of engaged comp. And for now, they're going to continue their four-man siege towards the spot side. They've allowed themselves to get flanked by Keel, as only 35 is going to try and 1v3 hold everybody at bay. And here comes Denethor swinging on over. Shogo arrives to the fight as well. All the marksmen hitting from over the wall here as the tanks brawl it out, but it's only 35 that gets his health bar burned away first. One kill for Ole Miss as they try and keep their base away from going into tatters. Hook's going to land onto Denethor, goes unstoppable, goes back forward. He's not on the defensive, he's always on the offensive, but Stray will not fall. Denethor is knocked down, traded out by his carries, but Keel's on the flank here. Inhibitor turret goes down, and now Mobility says, I've got the space to create some more kills here. Kills come accrue through for Stort as well as he lands another great Hay ultimate, and they break the inhibitor open, and Winthrop are looking for more.
Stray and Shogo, the two carries for Ole Miss right now in this comp, are alive here. Maybe they just get a Nexus turret at most, but instead they're going to be able to clear the wave out, and that was tough for Ole Miss because they burned 4 separate ultimates just to get the kill onto Braum there. They were out of gas. And now they've got to contend with potentially this Mountain Dragon, Mountain Soul, by the way, for Winthrop. I think they just have to give this away. And if they do, I mean, look, it's not a 0% chance that Ole Miss potentially turned this game, but I'd say it went from highly improbable to nearly impossible.
10K gold lead, Mountain Soul, everything in the hands of Winthrop to be able to push this one over the finish line. And the Mountain Soul, like you pointed out so well, Shippy, just extra resistances for these carries, extra resistances for their front line to all buy time because Ole Miss, they can't really afford to play on the back foot. It's just not how their comp's designed if they're using Frozen Doom defensively. If we're seeing, impales to buy space, depth charges defensively. It doesn't work for the Land Sharks. And if that's why, like you pointed out, it just feels inevitable like this game should come to an end soon. At least these turrets outside the base are definitely coming to an end very soon.
Yeah, base has been slowly getting caved in by Winthrop here. 10,000 gold lead. Another impale.
Double impale. He's going to bring both only 35 and Mobility into the base, past the walls, but Mobility has that arcane shift. He gets the safety, only 35. Health bar low, but he's staying alive this entire time. In goes Asilla to find the kill, but he's just blown up by the rest of Winthrop on the backside. The stasis, once again, only buying you time. Stray whiffs the public execution on a Mobility. Another ult down for Ole Miss, and they're just getting chunked down, death by 1,000 cuts in 2 lanes right now.
Again, so many cooldowns used to burn the support away, but there's just so much damage on the side of Winthrop here, and Denethor leading the front line as this Cassante. He's got 3.5 items. I mean, he is just a tanky individual. top lane inhibitor is going to go down here. They got 2 inhibitor turrets down. They're probably going to look towards mid. They can just walk their way with that minion wave. So we're going to get double waves of supers crashing into the base. It's tough. Ole Miss are just trying to bide as much time as possible. I don't know if a 4th item on Corki is the answer, though.
Doesn't feel like it. Maybe a flank to get
DP?
towards those carries. Wilson is getting hounded.
They saw
having to
him!
step back here, but they do spot out Ascilla on this flank. Denethor has Keel in a 1v1. In goes Ascilla onto Wilson, but he expertly flashes to safety and lives with a sliver in HP bar. Everything going right for Winthrop in this one. They're going to mop up all the kills once more, find themselves 4, and now the game win. Winthrop with a statement to kick off the NECC. Will take a 1-0 lead in our best of 3.
Beautiful, beautiful play from Winthrop there. I mean, just perfectly understanding their win conditions, the range advantage. You mentioned that they were willing to give the Skarner over. It felt as if it was a masterclass in drafting, almost as if they wanted Ole Miss to have that Skarner there. And yeah, I mean, very, very well played. I know we look at Denethor and his score line and be like, yeah, that guy was the carry. He was really, really good on the Cassante. But I mean, Sword and Mobility played their parts perfectly, right? I think Mobility had tons of damage coming into these later fights. Once he hit that 2-item power spike, it was kind of kaput. And then Sword on the Hui. Really, really good usage of the ultimate. Tons of AoE. Understood how Ole Miss wanted to play their composition and perfectly piloted his abilities to kind of counter. Very well played from Winthrop. We're not in a fearless format, Slayer. These guys can pick up these champions once again. We'll see if the sides actually end up getting swapped here. As Ole Miss did start on the blue side. Yeah, it's tough. I mean, that composition, I don't know if you default to Ascilla on utility. You pick up a player like him, you have high praise for him, put him on a carry. Get him an active role where he can kind of put the pants on, bump out DPS, because I just think that Lysandra pick, I get the idea, but I didn't love it because it relied so heavily on zoning out one individual, and they could just never reach Wei and Ezreal.
I think that's what's really the difference here is it's just you gave too simple of a disengaged draft across the board that maybe you get to the second game, and we see an Ezreal ban thrown away, even like a Braum ban. Zyra's been banned a lot because of how powerful she is. We saw Wilson show it off there. It's just kind of the stars aligning, and Denethor was the one to kind of push them together from that early game constantly. It really feels like the Otacon win, the steal, the kill off to kill was what broke this game open. So Denethor provided it, but like you mentioned, all of the Golden Eagles playing their roles so well, including only 35 in his debut for this squad. So great start so far for Winthrop. They go up 1-0, but that is not the end of the series. Ole Miss will have side selection available after we go through a short break here. So stay tuned to see Game 2 draft, if Ole Miss want to even this thing up, or if we're getting out here in 2-0 fashion. We'll see you soon.
What am I supposed to say?
It doesn't matter. He's dead. He ain't listening to you anyway.
I'm hungry.
No, not in front of you. Put it away. I can't watch it. Oh, crap. Just reach in. You gotta pull it. Just grab it. Just take it out of his hand. You just can't. What do you mean you can't?
He won't let go.
What do you mean he won't let go? He's dead.
Help me. Get in there. No, just hold on.
Make him let go of it. No, I got you covered. Just go in for a hug. Go and get on in there. It's a bad loss. Yeah, hug him up. Just reach. Hug him up.
He's breathing. On the other side.
Go.
I can't.
Just-
I can't do it.
Help me, Lord. Help me get over this loss.
I can't breathe.
Yeah, I can't breathe. I'm so upset. I can't breathe. Stop. You knock on wood so they go to heaven. It's like a lucky. Hey, get the stick.
Yeah.
Hey, do you the meat stick?
Yeah, I got it.
Hey, just hold tight for a second. They're moving the casket. Just hold tight.
Yeah, that's no worries. I got it.
Oh, what an awesome day for a pump, dude.
Yeah, I gotta take it easy. Doc says if I exert myself, I will die.
You overexert yourself, you will die.
I'll tell you what, you finish the workout, all these could be yours. That looks good. A little bit of honey ham for the ham. Get after it, and that's your get after it, and that's your treat. Stay. Do the exercise, do the work, then you get the reward. That's how this works, man. You gotta give it max effort, maximum effort. That's what I'm talking about, baby. Big hams. Make it work, those hams. Work 'em. Putting in the work. Yeah, baby. Yes. Dude, this is a spicy workout. Gotta make it worth it. Building the beef and bringing home the bacon, baby. I'm loving it. Teriyaki is just about within your reach. Come on, get you some. Come on. Ooh, ooh. Maximum effort. Maximum effort. You're there. You're almost there.
That's so worth it.
What do you make of this up here? Just showed up in the yard a couple days ago.
Dog been digging in there?
I don't think so, dude. That goes way down in there. Seriously, did you just lose your meat stick?
Yeah.
Oh, no. There's something in there, dude. Just leave it.
Are you kidding me?
We'll just head to us. Just leave it.
The hell with that.
Oh, yeah. There's something in there. Ah!
Want one?
Thank you.
It was worth it.
Oh, man, this is incredible.
Oh, wow.
Huh?
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
It is pretty cool. Hey, man, grab me a meat stick. I think I can reach it if I just a little more. Just let me go a little. I can't. Just a little more. I almost got it. Careful! Oh, God. No. Come on, just reach. Reach. Just grab my hand. I can't hold it. Grab my hand.
Give me the meat stick. This other hand's closer. The one with the stick is. Oh. What am I supposed to say?
It doesn't matter. He's dead. He ain't listening to you anyway.
I'm hungry.
No. Put it away. I can't watch it. Oh, crap. Just reach in. You gotta pull it. Just grab it. Just take it out of his hand. You just can't. What do you mean you can't?
He won't let go.
What do you mean he won't let go? He's dead.
Help me. Get in there. No, just hold on.
Make him let go of it. No, I got you covered. Just go in for a hug. Go and get on in there. It's a bad loss. Yeah, hug him up. Just reach, hug him up.
He's breathing.
On the other side. Go.
I can't.
Just-
I can't do it. Help!
Help me, Lord. Help me get over this loss.
I can't breathe.
Hey, I can't breathe. I'm so upset. I can't breathe. Stop. You knock on wood so they go to heaven. It's like a lucky. Hey, get the stick.
Yeah.
Hey, do you the meat stick?
Yeah, I got it.
Hey, just hold tight for a second. They're moving the casket. Just hold tight.
Yeah, that's no worries. I got it.
Oh, what an awesome day for a pump, dude.
Yeah, I gotta take it easy. Doc says if I exert myself, I will die.
You overexert yourself, you will die.
I'll tell you what, you finish the workout, all these could be yours. That looks good. A little bit of honey ham for the ham. Get after it, and that's your get after it, and that's your treat. Stay, do the exercise, do the work, then you get the reward. That's how this works, man. You gotta give it max effort, maximum effort. That's what I'm talking about, baby. Big hams. Make it work, those hams. Work 'em. Putting in the work. Yeah, baby. Yes. Dude, this is a spicy workout. Gotta make it worth it. Building the beef and bringing home the bacon, baby. I'm loving it. Teriyaki is just about within your reach. Come on, get you some. Come on. Ooh, ooh. Maximum effort. Maximum effort. You're there. You're almost there.
That's so worth it.
What do you make of this up here? Just showed up in the yard a couple days ago.
Dog been digging in there?
I don't think so, dude. That goes way down in there. Seriously, did you just lose your meat stick?
Yeah.
Oh, no. There's something in there, dude. Just leave it.
Are you kidding me?
We'll just head to the house. Just leave it.
The hell with that.
Oh, yeah, there's something in there. Ah!
Want one?
Thank you.
It was worth it.
Oh, man, this is incredible.
Wow.
Huh?
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
It is pretty cool. Hey, man, grab me a meat stick. I think I can reach it if I just a little more. Just let me go a little. I can't. Just a little more. I almost got it. Careful! Oh, God. No, come on, just reach. Just grab my hand. Grab my hand.
Give me the meat stick. This other hand's closer. The one with the stick is... Oh!
What am I supposed to say?
It doesn't matter. He's dead. He ain't listening to you anyway.
I'm hungry.
No. Put it away. I can't watch it. Oh, crap. Just reach in. You gotta pull it. Just grab it. Just take it out of his hand. What do you mean you can't?
He won't let go.
What do you mean he won't let go? He's dead.
Help me. Get in there.
No, just hold on.
Make him let go of it. No, I got you covered. Just go in for a hug. Go and get on in there. It's a bad loss. Yeah, hug him up. Just reach. Hug him up.
He's breathing.
On the other side. Go.
I can't.
Just-
I can't do it.
Help me, Lord. Help me get over this loss.
I can't breathe.
Yeah, I can't breathe. I'm so upset. I can't breathe. Stop. You knock on wood so they go to heaven. It's like a lucky. Get the stick.
Yeah.
Hey, did you get the meat stick?
Yeah, I got it.
Hey, just hold tight for a second. They're moving the, casket. Just hold tight.
Yeah, that's no worries. I got it.
Oh, what an awesome day for a pump, dude.
Yeah, I gotta take it easy. Doc says if I exert myself, I will die.
You overexert yourself, you will die.
I'll tell you what, you finish the workout, all these could be yours. That looks good. A little bit of honey ham for the ham. Get after it, and that's your get after it, and that's your treat. Stay. Do the exercise, do the work, then you get the reward. That's how this works, man. You gotta give it max effort, maximum effort. That's what I'm talking about, baby. Big hams. Make it work, those hams. Work 'em. Putting in the work. Yeah, baby. Yes. Dude, this is a spicy workout. Gotta make it worth it. Building the beef and bringing home the bacon, baby. I'm loving it. Teriyaki is just about within your reach. Come on, get you some. Come on. Ooh, ooh. Maximum effort. Maximum effort. You're there. You're almost there.
I'm so worth it.
What do you make of this up here? Just showed up in the yard a couple days
Is a
ago.
dog been digging in there?
I don't think so, dude. That goes way down in there. Seriously, did you just lose your meat stick?
Yeah.
Oh, no. There's something in there, dude. Just leave it.
Are you kidding me?
We'll just head to us. Just leave it.
The hell with that.
Oh, yeah, there's something in there.
Want one?
Thank you.
It was worth it.
Oh, man, this is incredible.
Wow.
Huh?
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
It is pretty cool. Hey, man, grab me a meat stick. I think I can reach it if I do a little more. Just let me go a little. I can't.
Appreciate your patience, NECC viewers. We are back getting set here for Game 2 draft here. And for Ole Miss has to go back to the drawing board after a triumphant Golden Eagles win here, Shibby. Perfect draft execution is really, I feel like, the story of that last game.
Yeah, it was interesting because Ole Miss definitely had the early game tools, and it looked like, okay, they're finally getting these picks going. They're doing the Mbessa-Lysandra combo. They're singling somebody out, and that man advantage should allow you to pick up objective, whether it's a turret in the top side, potentially Otacon, all this stuff, right? They did get that pick. They started the Otacon objective, the voracious version in the top side that spawned, and unfortunately, Winthrop, even with a man disadvantage 5v4, they're able to walk in, and crucially, their two carries, both Ezreal and Hui, both sword and mobility, were able to pump out a ton of damage behind the force that was Denethor as that big mean tank that was Cassante. They executed Keel, so no smite was available, and at that point, it's just a toss-up, right? Who does it go to?
Yep.
It's a matter of who hits it last, and luckily for Winthrop, they were able to sneak that away or yoink it away from Ole Miss, and that's kind of when the game turned, right? It was dialed up to 10. Baron was taken from by Winthrop. Top lane turret was taken by them, right? They were just cracking the base open. The chances for Ole Miss to execute their team composition, especially when they're behind, it's very difficult. It's tough. They were burning it on Braum support, only 35 there, and even then, those fights were being turned around super quickly. So yeah, I think Ole Miss was in control up until they weren't. It's like that graphic that we always see. Oh boy, Ole Miss is playing. Oh crap. No. Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah. Well, let's turn around into the Game 2 draft here to see if Ole Miss can complete the end of that usual graphic that we see with a win. They're going to stick to blue side. That's been the statement play for a lot of teams in the competitive leagues that we've been able to see of the new season. So blue side And remember, we're not Fearless here, right? I know all the Tier 1s having fun with Fearless finally. If you've been a Tier 2 fan, in NA specifically qualifier fan and a Seal fan, you're accustomed to Fearless. That's not here today. So all those champions from Game 1's win for Winthrop are on the board, and we can already see an adjustment coming out from Colomer here, Shibby, getting rid of the Zyra. They're trying to get rid of those disengaged tools, so the Golden Eagles will reflectively now not allow Skarner to get through, knowing Ole Miss's plan.
Yeah, they're trading away bans for the junglers here. Good call out. I think you said it before we went to break. Ole Miss probably looks to ban away something like the Zyra. Maybe they ban the Ezreal away. They figured, this jungle pick, too good in Wilson's hand, right? Still a top jungler in the collegiate space, one of my favorites. And yeah, they're going to take the Victor away. Rumble being removed as well here. So other than that slight adjustment, both of these teams are taking away some very powerful picks here. Now, the big adjustment that I wanted to see, or we may potentially see, is that Ole Miss are going to be willing to rotate their mid lane within their first 3 picks. The crucial thing that happened in Game 1 was that when we got into those second phase of bans, after the Skarner was picked up, after the Corki, all these characters, Winthrop pretty much called their shot and said, hey, this Corki's going to go bottom lane. It's not going into Asila's hand. Let's ban out Orianna. Let's ban out Syndra. Let's put Asila on his 3rd or potentially 4th best champion. In this case, it was a utility-based mid, I'm going to say, in the Lissandra. And like I said, looked good early on, but just didn't have that oomph and punch that we normally see here. And a big change that we've seen so far, at least for these first 2 games, is that this Jace most likely will be going into Stray's hands. Ole Miss have been giving a lot more, carry power on Stray relative to last year.
Also, an adaptation we could see if you really want to pull from, the leagues we've been seeing in Tier 1 in the East. A lot of tank Jace taking grasp and building like Thimblewinter and just somehow putting out decent base damage. Wonder if we'll get that from Stray, but I like this from Denethor, man. I mean, he played, I would say, player of the game worthy. Cassante after the Otacon play, able to get the kill and steal. Now he's on the Mbessa, which we pointed out for Stray, could be a very big carry champion. Put it in Denethor's hands if he's in form like we saw in Game 1. This could be problematic, but yeah, I'm glad you shouted out. Ole Miss are they're taking notes from Shibby here. They're getting Asila not only a first rotation mid laner, they're getting him his most pivotal champion in the Syndra.
Yeah, I think his best mid laner by far, right? Was a menace in the ACL when they were playing it earlier in last year. But, this Mbessa, a very Denethor style champion, I'm going to say, right? This guy made a name for himself on stuff like the Camille, like the Gwen. I mean, this is just in this guy's wheelhouse here. And another character that is in their solo laner's wheelhouse, this Galio for sword. We saw him default to that. That was his supportive style mid laner, utility style mid laner, right? Everyone's got one, whether it's Lissandra, whether it's Annie, whether it's Galio. Every mid laner has a pick they can default to that they can say, hey, I'm going to set my team up for success. I'm going to help them out. Bunch of AoE as well coming out from Winthrop once again, but this is a lot less long range AoE and a lot more in your face, right? Wukong, Galio, just kind of scream. We're going to dive on, especially into the immobile champions of both Syndra and Jace. I don't know if this Maokai will be enough disengage. Granted, again, one of Ole Miss' biggest strengths from last year and the year prior is that they've always got these flex picks available. Maokai, a very, very keen one as well, because Rhino can also pick this up in the support role if he feels that it's worth it.
It is important to mention as well that Keel's champion pool, at least as we came to learn it before he took a bit of a break from Tier 2, was very tank engage dominated. So comparing obviously Icelandic Rhino pools, it kind of affects the idea of flexing the Maokai into Rhino. I see this as a much more Keel pick than an Icelandic pick of past. Though it is important to keep that flexibility in mind. Jinx can be locked in here for mobility. I like it. You have a bunch of people flying in the face, looking for one person to kind of knock up, single out, and this Jinx can just try and get that reset, get excited on the backside of the fight for mobility. It's a similar sort of style that we've seen from Winthrop before. Bans were, in the second phase, all 80 carry oriented, a lot of early game as we get the Viego lock in, and Shibby, you called it again. I mean, this is the Maokai flex bottom lane for Ole Miss.
I do my homework. Occasionally I do hit the books up. And yeah, I mean, Ole Miss, again, flexing that Maokai into the support role. You mentioned maybe Keel not the biggest carry jungler player, but this Viego, this pseudo reset comp that they've got for both of these teams, I like this. And the icing on the cake for Winthrop, they are going to pick up this Alistar. Bunch load of CC there on their side. Also can effectively work as both engage, disengage, follow-up, kind of Alistar here kind of fits all the bills that you need, right? Oh, is Viego jumping on to my carry? Let me headbutt him away. Oh, do I see potentially Rhino coming in on this Maokai using Twisted Advance? All right, let me headbutt him away. Or, hey, I've got my Wukong coming in. Let's go for a pick. Headbutt Pulverize, right? There's a lot of flexibility with what only 35 can do on this Alistar, but I like that they've given the Jinx over to mobility. It is a very much single one guy out, get a ton of CC in, and then we'll just win the fight afterwards. Similar to Ole Miss, right? This Viego starts resetting. If they can burst somebody out with the unleashed power plus Viego ultimate, I mean, you take any of those bodies over, it's a wrap, right? Galio, Wukong, Jinx, Alistar. I mean, every one of those bodies that he can wear as a skin suit is very, very effective for Ole Miss's side. As we do get back onto the Rift for Game 2 of Ole Miss Esports versus Winthrop here in the Round 1, Week 1 NECC regular season conference matchup.
Game 2 matchup, Ole Miss Winthrop. Call it the reset battle. Viego versus Jinx, as Shibby so eloquently pointed out. See some interesting runes coming through. I see that Stray has adopted the LPL tech of the tank Jace. Potentially, I will see how tanky he wants to get with it, but Grasp Take is the first step along that road. And Shogo will be taking the teleport on the Ezreal here. No barrier. Not really anything to cleanse, so I'm glad it's not a cleanse, but wants the ability to constantly get back to lane, maybe play a bit more for the side lanes, because Ole Miss's strength in this game, besides the Viego reset, is just going to be sheer range. They have the range advantage if they can get set up to play. Oh, lane swap.
Beautiful.
Hey, we're really pulling from LPL right now. There we go. We got tank Jace, and we've got lane swapping. I love to see it.
Yeah, and I kind of want to hit back your point there. Yeah, you're right. Ole Miss's biggest strengths, numbers advantage, TPing, playing those side lanes with Jace, with Syndra there. But this lane swap effectively going to keep Denethor out of a really bad lane here and also keep this chase down, more importantly, right? Jinx and Alistar should be able to kind of zone the melee or ranged version of Jace here, especially with those grass procs that Stray wants to get. He's not gonna be able to get too much onto the ranged AD carry of Jinx here. He's only gonna get ranged, or sorry, he's only gonna get grass procs if Alistar allows him to.
Remember though, on the new season, for everybody that's still trying to learn and grasp all the changes, the minion XP range has been increased, so
yes,
it is at least a little bit easier for Denethor and Stray to catch XP. But I don't think with the junglers we have that, you know, that classic 3v1 dive you see with these lane swaps was ever really going to come out, especially now that Rhino has decided to leave Shogo on his own. I like that a lot because there is no champion that can play weak side and by themselves safely more in the AD carry department than Ezreal.
Yeah, agreed. And yeah, you know, Riot did do a couple changes here and there more subtly to kind of dissuade the aggressiveness, I would argue, of lane swaps or the ability to put people down. The turrets, they charge up faster, right? Or they warm up faster. So if you dive, you've got to make sure your dive is on point. I think it's made it effectively. You can't tank one extra turret shot, which is a big difference here. So you're not, like you said, going to see those crazy dives here. Lane swaps still have a role in the game strategically, but it's a lot less damning if you're on the bad side of it, right? This Stray on this Jace shouldn't be as effective. He should still be able to pick up some CS here, should still be able to do good here, and obviously those feats of strength, very important because that bottom lane turret, a little bit more vulnerable, obviously, than that top lane side.
Fortifications down on those solo lane turrets as well, but we have a fight potentially over the scuttle. Wilson waits it out pretty well. Keel throws down the stun. Rhino gets jumped on by only 35. Gonna flash the stun on a Stray. Does not get claimed by the Flame Choppers, but does have to burn his flash as well. Scuttle somehow got nearly to blue buff before somebody smited it down, but Wilson will grab the very small crab that everybody decided to fight over.
Yeah, and I'm pretty sure Wilson should be able to get this bottom lane one too. Fight in the mid lane.
Down. Sword already half HP. Just find space for Wilson here, who does not have double buffs currently, only has the red buff. Shogo getting pushed in, though. Denethor going to try and walk up to help his jungler, but Shogo's just going to poke him down. Keel feels the advantage he has over Wilson currently in this 1v1. Just the question of who's going to get there as reinforcements first. It's Denethor and Winthrop, so Wilson will be able to grab the double scuttle.
Yeah, Denethor did a really good job of shoving this bottom lane in before moving up to this Scuttle Crab, so it just gives him that first move initiative, as well as Alistar still being off the map. They don't actually know where he is, right? They have an inkling that he could be trending towards mid lane. He's hiding in a bush somewhere, but because of that uncertainty, because of Ole Miss's inability to move first, Wilson gets a nice little jungle advantage for himself as Shogo flies on in with the teleport down to that bottom lane, just as you predicted, right? Wants to get to lane faster, wants to pick up farm faster here. And yeah, I mean, overall, small gold lead for Ole Miss simply because that lane swap that was initiated by Winthrop. But they've got advantages elsewhere on the map, right? Or at least elsewhere in roles specifically. And Wilson on this Wukong should have about a half-level lead.
And I like Denethor's spot now. You mentioned how you want to get the Ambessa out of that range matchup early into Jace. Now that you have nearly access to all your spells, you have a lot more threat over Stray. Can't really just get as oppressive controlling the wave. So Winthrop, while they are down gold, have effectively kind of neutralized some of the worst lane states they'd have in the early game. But as you called out, no kills. Nobody's taken any epic monster yet. So we are nowhere close to anything that makes Season 25. Season 25 is on point. Denethor shows off some of those dashes and combos to cut down into Stray's range, but the public execution as it ticks over level 6, just going to go a bit wide to make sure Stray is able to survive flashless.
Yeah, good movement from Stray, right? Not pathing towards his turret, instead pathing down. But yeah, go whiffs like you said, and also that top lane fight actually sapped some XP away from Stray, right? Brought him away from the minion wave. That's why you saw that little level lead go to Denethor there. And also, obviously, he was in a solo lane versus Stray. Rhino kind of came up and yoinked some XP away. But we are one of 3 neutral monster objectives towards the feats of strength here. For people I don't know, that has changed a little bit. It does take 3 kills now instead of first blood. And it still is 3 neutral monsters and or the first turret. So feats of strength, a little bit more delayed, right? It's not as early game potent anymore. I would even argue it kind of happens around the 12 to 14 minute mark now.
Yeah, we're actually not any closer because before Winthrop jumped on those grubs, Keel swung in, smited away 1. So we're actually
yoinked it.
Nowhere near. The closest I think we're at, I guess I would say, is turret, as some of these plays are getting chunked down. Shogo obviously had his time in the solo lane, has a level advantage over Mobility, who will start to suffer in the CS department. That's the power of solo XP and taking teleport on Marksman.
Yeah, he's got a nice little level lead for himself. As well as been him being able to hit those skill shots, right? Chunking Mobility down, doesn't have that big body. Alistar blocking a lot of the WQs, blocking a lot of these Mystic shots here, so will be a little rough as Rhino gonna let his jungler secure this Scuttle Crab here, get him some safety around. Once these, kind of little saplings start to get down, I lied. I'm a liar.
Did him dirty, Shibby. Come on, man.
It's a level 6 Wukong as well. I mean, they can just kind of force a fight, and there's not really much Ole Miss can do here. They got to be careful. I don't know if Ole Miss can actually contest this dragon. If Winthrop want to, they can force the issue. They've got the level lead and the, ability cooldown lead here with those ultimates available. I want to see something maybe a little bit more aggressive from these guys. And there's a proxy from Stray. He was doing this last year, too. I mean, this guy just will always look for this. Especially if he sees the enemy jungler, like, halfway across the map on the other side. He'd just be like, yeah, I'm going to proxy you, and you just can't do anything about it.
We were waiting for that Shogo pop-off. We saw the Shogo standard lead, but we are still waiting for that Shogo-esque performance for Ole Miss, even in their new iteration. Good to see in the early game he's back to just hitting skill shots, finding those small level leads. Is Denethor looking to maybe punish Stray on this proxy? Looks like he did use that public execution. Already down, but Keel's flashing on top of the very low level Rhino. That's first blood over to Ole Miss. A possession, and now Mobility. You're cooked, my friend. Flashes maybe for nothing at this point, besides burning the summoner. Does get the trade onto Keel with the ramped up turret damage. But it's 2 kills to 1 for Ole Miss.
Yeah, ends up taking that body over, and it's tough, but you get the 2-for-1. You deny the gold from Mobility there. 2 kills going on to Keel. Trying to maybe swap the narrative or flip it on its head. I'm not just a tank jungler player. Okay, I can play carries. I'm 2-1. Game is in game, at least early game, is in his hands a little bit. A small 1,000 gold lead for Ole Miss, and 2-1. Ole Miss just need one more kill to complete one of the 3 feats of strength here.
Grubs not going to be up for a bit here. That Dragon kind of just laying idle. That's something that we noticed in Game 1 and across a lot of pro games is Dragon stacking is a lot more delayed with so much more to play for on the map. Here he's getting a look at those gold leads, the majority being that 500 gold lead in the hands of Kiel currently, but still a lot of time for Winthrop. And remember, they are definitely leaning a bit more on their team fighting ability. That's when this comp pops off with the Galio, the Wukong, the Ambessa all flying in to make sure the mobility is safe and free firing those rockets.
Yeah, 100% here on the Ole Miss side. It's a little bit of a script flip, right? They've got Jace and Ezreal. They want to play the range game. They want to play the long-range poke, maybe prior to this Dragon, right? Fish in a barrel situation. And once they're low enough, Asilla and Kiel kind of pounce, right? Big stun into the Kiel or Viego ultimate, and that should just win you the fight. ASAP, as you get that man advantage, you take the body over here. I like how Ole Miss have kind of amassed themselves a small gold lead. They're playing patiently. They're not really forcing too much, right? They're going for good plays, right? The play onto mobility and only 35. That was a good, solid play. They caught out Alistar when he was back. They knew they were low, and they just kind of packed down there, and they knew that Winthrop couldn't really cover it. As the Grubs do get started by Winthrop, although I don't know if it'll all be finished by them.
Kiel still the wealthiest person on the Rift. Looks for a bit of poke here onto Wilson, but they're going to give away that first grub. Mobility try to churn through the rest of them. Remember, they need all 3 to get that epic monster. Only 35 going in with the Unbreakable. Will uses the blast code to get on top of Rhino. Hero's entrance over top of Mobility gets the kill on a Rhino. Jinx is now reset. Can Winthrop find the turn? Denethor certainly thinks so. Diving into all the team. Eats about 3 ultimates to the face, but survives. Strain's going to flash through, but gets knocked up. There's the feat of warfare over to Winthrop once more, and it's Mobility left to just churn out rocket after rocket to the death of a 3 kills to 1 once more. Winthrop fight win after fight win in that top river.
Beautiful, beautiful play again around these Grubs. It almost felt like deja vu. Winthrop able to bust open the game and the fight win for them. Doesn't matter the champions, the personnel is still the same. Beautiful from them here. And like you said, they get the 3 kill mark. That's one of the 3 feats of strength there. Dragon gonna be taken away by Ole Miss. But right now, if Winthrop get first turret, they get those coveted boot upgrades here. And Ole Miss still have a ways to go. They need 3 neutral objectives plus a turret for them to even think about getting those boots.
Gold lead flip back to Winthrop, and all of it in Mobility's hands. Got the Yuntall completed. Ends up being one of the first people to one of those legendary items. And you called it out. The Grubs as well. One step closer to the Monster Slayer, so feats of strength, which has held up, is statistically prevalent in games 1. You know, majority of solo queue and competitive games, the team with the feats of strength at the end of the day do end up coming out on top. Does Winthrop look for more? Going for a flank onto Asilla here. They're going to find Kiel. Only 35, though. I really like his aggressiveness. You mentioned it, Chibi. Just very recently announced for this Winthrop roster as Kiel tries to flash stun Wilson. Will force the flash out himself. And nobody dies. Just some summoners, some ults.
And I love how only 35 played that, kind of with Wakao tailing him a little bit from the back. Almost as to say, like, hey, you won't hit me here, as Rhino doesn't have that disengaging tool. Is he going to be fine?
There's another knockup. The question is, does Wilson have enough damage on his own? Maybe with only 35's help. Rhino's very low, and he is picked off. Kiel trying to find the trade with Shogun nearby. Heartbreaker down. Wilson should fall. There's a possession over for Kiel. Mobility tries to use the Flame Choppers to buy only 35 some space, who commits the flash and the ultimate. So maybe a little bit too deep there for Winthrop, but they do end up splitting.
Yeah, I feel like that trade went in the favor of Ole Miss, right? You got that kill onto your Ezreal. You got to realize only 35 actually ended up picking up that kill under Rhino. He hit him with the last tick of his E there, slapped him up. So a little too deep, like you mentioned. Winthrop, though, I like this look. I like how they're getting more aggressive. They've got the composition to do it. They've got the personnel, the big bodies, right? That's how you should play Alistar. Go tandem with your jungler, with one of your strongest members, and just look to pick people off. Catch them out, right? Force them out of their own jungle, put them in uncomfortable positions, as the first turret still hasn't gone down for either squad. I don't know if mid lane is going to be able to go down for Ole Miss here, though.
It's going to be close. Do see that top side's going to be where we get whichever Atacon we're going for, but if we're pulling off of last game's pace, I think we're right at about the same. I think I might have even actually said 8 kills in 14 minutes, so if that's true, got another Voracious coming, which, if you've been tuned in all stream long, that was the buff and the fight that really opened game 1 up for Winthrop. We'll see if history is doomed to repeat itself or not.
Maybe Ole Miss just don't start Otacon. You know, I've been hearing that like the team that starts Otacon usually loses. Is that can you attest to that with LPL? Yeah,
I would agree. I've seen people all out for Otacon steal it and then just end up giving all the revives away. So I would say sometimes it's just like even splits. It's one team sells out for Otacon, but then all ends up dying. So the buff just doesn't mean anything. As we have a face check from Asilla into Sword. Does actually push him back towards his own turret. But with Rhino, I don't think they have enough damage to burn through the AP Juggernaut, or the AP Bruiser Juggernaut that is Galio.
I love how you said that. They sell out for Otacon, right? It's a new objective and everything. Baron doesn't get that love. Dragon doesn't. No, Otacon's going to get all the love here. Yeah, but I agree. Sometimes that revive buff just kind of debuffs your brain a little bit. I've noticed that, like, these guys just kind of throw themselves. They're like, oh, I got a revive. Dude, it's totally worth to just die for that top lane tier 2. It's like,
dude, they don't get my bounty. There's no loss here.
Yeah, that kind of definitely kind of sways the decision making. It's almost like a 150-second Lee Sin Q, like Sonic Resonance, the second part. Yep, it's like, do I go in? That's what it is to me. It's almost like Lee syndrome. It's Otacon syndrome, we'll call it.
Or when you're playing Yasuo and you hear a knockup. Oh, is that a knockup? I have to hit my Arky no matter where I go.
Yeah. As Herald does get started up by Ole Miss. Again, though, I don't think it'll be finished here, as big burly bodies of Winthrop. Alistar, Winthrop, and Galio are just going to come in and force him out. But look at only 35.
Oh my god, he finds another flank angle. Who says Alistar's all about disengage? This guy's finding ways to cook it up for Winthrop into kills. Couple more autos. Mobility is gifted the kill with one rocket, and that is Keel down, Jungler down, and another epic monster guaranteed for the Golden Eagles.
And it looks like Ole Miss are going to concede this objective. Pings have already gone down to both bottom lane tier 1 and tier 2. They're also going to look to siege mid lane here. Rhino, a bit aggressive.
Okay. Only 35 though. He has unbreakable will, so it's taking a lot more shots to get through Shogo. Going to re-engage onto Rhino. Likes how tanky he is. Maybe just wants to get mobility to the reset. One rocket short of it. Going to flash for it, and now Shogo's got to run as well. As Jinx get excited means you got to run. 1-for-1 split between the supports. Rift Herald taken from the Golden Eagles in the background. His first turret goal for Ole Miss secured as well. Well, where'd it go?
I think the auto just disappeared, or maybe followed Jinx back here. But we mentioned, right, the feats of strength. Both of these guys, I believe, are sitting at 1-1.
Yes.
Winthrop did take the Grubs plus the Rift Herald, so they are at 2 neutral objectives out of the 3. Ole Miss obviously have the Dragon, so they're at 1 of 3. Winthrop ended up hitting 3 kills first, and then obviously Ole Miss got that first turret. So these neutral objectives, insanely more valuable, right, for both of these guys. Obviously, Ole Miss want to deny the feats of strength, and Winthrop want to pick that up for themselves here, but Winthrop might have bit off a little bit more than they could chew. We're going to get another fight here in less than, what, a minute? Because we do see Sword on the flank. Do they know?
Sword on the flank. Ole Miss, they have to get towards mobility. 2-item Jinx. They get the True Shot Barrage onto 3. Rhino in the background. The hero's entrance comes through. Mobility is still up for now, but the rest of Ole Miss shows up and just throws them into the chainsaw. Dragon and 2 shutdowns claimed, and they might even find more here as Stray looks to chase down Wilson, flashes on him, finds the 3rd kill. There's the land shards breaking the game open like we expected.
Beautiful, beautiful play here. Denethor, unfortunately, not fast enough on that TP there. And then Asilla flying to the top side. Ole Miss want more. They've gotten the Dragon, a couple kills. They're going to take as much gold on the map that's left standing here. Top lane tier 1, super low here. Bottom lane as well. You're going to see Stray go down to that bot side. Very, very beautifully played from both of these guys.
It's the difference in these comps, right? I was about to point out that Ole Miss, they want to kind of survive on just their range and executing the front line and resetting there, but now that you've got this Jinx so far ahead, hold on. This new guy only 35 on the block is crazy. He just preemptively flashed a wall and beautifully sets up Denethor, I might add, for an easy public execution. This guy's got an engaged bone in him that nobody else has shown in this series so far. Is only 35 going to set up another kill onto Keel. Denethor going to claim it. Nature's Grasp going to find him, though, with the root. Should be a trade back for Ole Miss, but I'm starting to see what Artemis was talking about with this new guy for Winthrop.
Yeah, that guy puts his pants on one leg at a time. The cojones on only 35, flashing over the walls like, you know what? I don't need that ability. It's going to land 2 kills for me. Or on the long trace, Stray.
Ooh, Wilson gonna have to use his clone. The Trickster doesn't buy him enough space. Nope. Stray goes on a rampage here as he does have that tank Jace going. That's a Thimblewinter in his kit. Oh, we got Voracious. We got enough kills. Okay. See, you know what's funny? If this were last patch, I'm pretty sure we would have gotten Voracious, but the new changes, we had enough damage and kills for Ruinous. So this is the buff for everybody at home. Monster reward upgrade. 25% raw stats to any epic monster you claim. So you're talking extra Rift Herald time, extra Baron time, and most importantly in my mind, Shibby, extra bonuses over towards any dragon you take.
Yeah, and also the petals spawning. I believe you get like all those petals coming in. But yeah, it's.
Am I trolling? They have Voracious. The icon around them. Did I just read that wrong, or?
I went off of you. That's on me. That's on me. I'm the telecaster.
Okay, so throw everything I just said out the window. They have the revive buff that everybody knew from last game.
Yeah, but this time Ole Miss actually ended up getting it. You see.
Yep.
You know, the Voracious syndrome is going to start now. The debuff starts happening. You start losing -1 intelligence as the game goes on, as you have this buff going, because they might just throw their bodies for this tier 2 in the mid lane. I'm very, very hesitant to see what these Ole Miss guys do, because they're normally will throw their bodies for anything. But now that they got this buff that revives them, they're going to get exponentially more aggressive here as they barreled 4 players down into this mid lane. Asilla straight in that top side, looking to maybe get that tier 2, and a fight in the jungle breaking out in potentially favor of Ole Miss here. A lot of abilities being thrown out by both teams.
Hand shock blast from Stray really starting to hurt. Wonder how much Winthrop want to secede here, because a lot of team strategies that we've seen in competitive have kind of just been to wait this thing out. It's 150 seconds. It should drop before Baron spawns, so you don't have to worry about a Baron flip, but it does usually cost turrets. And there's one turret that it seems like Denethor isn't willing to give up here. Hero's entrance through as Denethor re-engages onto Keel. Stray's going to get blown up. There's 2 revives down in an instant. Denethor, though, on the wrong side of the fight here, will get flashed on by Rhino. So Shogo's going to get one of these kills back as well. But Denethor has a lot of shields, a lot of dashes. It sure took a whole lot to knock him down. So looks like 2 kills for Winthrop. In reality, it's 400 gold for 300 gold. 1 real kill over to the Land Sharks.
Yeah, guys, don't worry. I have Otacon revive here. As we've already seen
they don't care about
coming to
this
this top. Shogo?
They're throwing bodies. Wilson's flashing forward. He wants Shogo's revive. There's another one down. Asilla's going to be next because the numbers aren't there anymore for Ole Miss. So 4 of the revives for 1 actual kill. Who says this new buff is OP?
Voracious debuff happening, bro. They just kind of like gave their lives away for virtually nothing. They did actually get the tier 2 in the top side. They got 1 kill back, like realistically, and they got some lane pressure, right? Again, we talked about it last game. Voracious respawn buff allows you to play the map again. It essentially gives you an extra turn if you come from like card games. It just allows you to move again, right? Because of the instant respawn ability. They're gonna go to this dragon here, and I believe this will put them.
No, they actually already have it. It's once again
Yeah. It'll put them on soul point for
right.
Hextech here, so I don't think Winthrop are actually going to be able to contest this. Hextech soul as well. Very, very, very detrimental for Winthrop here, because Ezreal and Jace having Hextech soul is just a nightmare for Siege, right? Like, Winthrop can't do anything about it, especially with how short range their composition is. These turrets, especially if you get hit by a Mystic Shot or a Shock Blast, like, Hextech Soul is damning.
Yeah, my bad there for mishearing you, Shibby. See, why do we even care about Dragon Souls anymore when we have feats of strength to talk about? That's where my mind was.
It's true.
No, in reality, though, Hextech Soul would really break this game open. It's going to be interesting. if Ole Miss are able to come back out on top, the small sample size we have with this being the start of the ACC split for 2025, the higher range team would come out with both of these wins here, because that's what Winthrop used to get their win in the damage department, the range of Ezreal Clay, and now it's Ole Miss's turn. And even though the gold is not too big for them, I do think what you're talking about with Hex Tech and mainly that their main damage dealers are coming online with 2 items each for that range. Winthrop are in a bit of a tough spot.
Yeah, and Stray has gone the Sinner build. He has denounced his path from the Lord here as he's gone for Spear of Shojin, Fimbulwinter. I mean, this guy is just, yeah, you love that. I mean, he's still going to hit you for a ton here. Shogo might be in some trouble.
Oh, but that Arcane Shift is always so reliable. Sword Art at half HP, only 35 going to engage in. Can they get the resets for this Jinx in time? Hero's Interest gets to knock him onto 2 frontliners. Look at Denethor hold 2 of the Ole Miss carries
Stray's
that play
1
on the
HP!
backside, but Stray's 1 HP. There's mobility with the reset over. Shogo just can't commit for these kills. Blinking health bars on the Golden Eagles, but they get out with just cuts and bruises and 2 kills to boot.
6, 2, and 2 right now. Mobility, getting the resets going, doing what he needs to do in these team fights. A lot of these team fight wins are going to be rested upon Winthrop, specifically Mobility's shoulders, and how well he can navigate through these fights with this Jinx, right? Getting that reset, just how tanky Winthrop is, right? Wakao went like a bruisery kind of build. Also, he's playing Wukong, who gets free armor and MR. Sword has obviously gone the Galio route. He provides a giant magic damage shield for his team, and good luck killing Alistar. I mean, he's got Unbreakable Will. He's tanky. Like, it's really tough for Keel to kind of get these resets going, where it's a lot easier for Mobility to just whittle some of these health bars down. There's no real tank. Even if Stray has, strayed from the path, he's not super tanky, right? He's not like he's not a Cassante or he's not a Skarner. He still takes a ton of damage in some of these team fights if he gets bursted down.
Feels like the real limit to test for this game going forward is how much time does Ole Miss get to poke down, chunk through this front line before a fight starts, and how quickly can Winthrop hop onto one of these carries before that happens. That's what's really going to decide this game, and it could be around this Baron that is on the Rift, and Winthrop are trying to take control of around that top river.
That's tough. If they start this Baron, though, like Jace and Ezreal just get so much free poke. You look at Denethor, though. He has snuck around. They do spot him out here. And, I want to say keep your eyes on Alistar. Only 35 has found some demonic angles already with some of these flanks. He's just been like hex flashing over or regular flashing over just to get the fight started here. And I think he's been a big difference maker for Game 2 specifically to kind of get them back into this game, right? They were down 2,000 gold. Ole Miss had the, like you said, voracious Otacon buff. And through all of that, gold is dead even.
Dead even. And 3 items done for their hyper-carrying Jinx. Mobility spent the end of 2024 boot camping in the Saido.GG Combine, was able to actually boot camp in Korea through it. Really impressive how he's scaled up. But how does it turn into collegiate wins here? Well, we got to see as he's rooted off and away from the fight alone. Only 35 going to re-engage onto Ascilla as we have a split fight on 2 fronts. But Rhino markedly is all alone, so we're trading supports. Classic game of League of Legends here. Both engaged tools are down. Shogo arcing it forward. Heel looking to push the pressure. Stealing gets a 3-man stun with this Syndra. And Stray's able to commit down to the first kill. Denethor throwing into the background. Keel looking for mobility, who's trying to use his speed up to create space to start firing these rockets. But Shogo's going to hunt him down and put him in the gray screen. Ole Miss find the fight off a massive stun from their new look mid laner. And it should be an ace with the swing of a hammer. Give it to the Land Sharks.
Ascilla opening it up like a DEA agent. Knock, knock, open the door. A 3-man stun onto Winthrop to give Ole Miss the team fight win and to give them Hextech Soul. That's the big thing. That was 10 seconds before the Dragon started. Beautiful play from Ascilla. That's why Syndra is his best champion.
And the cherry on top, a Hextech Soul. Now, those damage concerns poking through a front line, a lot of it alleviated. You've got Armor Pen coming through as well for this Ezreal. And boys have been topsy-turvy, but with the stake of the series on the line, Ole Miss look to be back in the driver's seat here. It's going to be really hard for Winthrop to ever get true setup around this Baron, it feels like.
Yeah, I mean, the poke coming out from Ole Miss is just, the damage is increased exponentially. Hextech Soul, especially with the slow, allows you to hit follow-up poke easier. It's just really tough to even run away. You saw how good Ole Miss was at chasing after trading supports in. Realistically, Alistar is pretty much their only reliable disengage tool, right? I mean, if Sword is channeling his ability to disengage, he's effectively giving his life away for the rest of his team here. You don't want to do that. You don't want to give the man advantage over to Ole Miss, especially on this poke team comp here. And just look, mobility's almost half health off of one Ezreal R that actually chunked through a couple of members here. That's just the damage of Hextech Soul, and it's super tough now for Winthrop to play into this. I mean, support's getting absolutely hammered away. He's getting whittled down. Yeah,
he's trying to hold on to that ult that will give him a bit more resistances, but that may just be foreshadowing how the rest of this game goes here, especially now that Shurelia's Grudge and Void Staff are done, so key penetration items done for both of those Ole Miss carries. Really feels like they can target whoever they want. As Denethor gets caught trying to pick off a tier 2 turret on the other side of the map, Stray clears out the wave with ease. Denethor trying to use that Ambessa kit to dash in, get all the shields possible, but Stray is too dark tanky. Welcome to the new iteration of everyone's favorite Arcane character, as Stray goes unstoppable.
Yeah, I mean, he's got 2 damage items, 2 tank items. Good luck ever winning in a duel in the side lane here. He's just become much more of a potent solo lane threat here. And with that kill, albeit it is going to be a 4v4 at this Baron temporarily. We already see Jace, or Stray, walking up. He's already played that mid lane. An errant Jinx Rocket comes in, unable to seal this objective. Baron secured for Ole Miss. And now the siege begins. Bullet hell begins for Winthrop here, as their base is going to be cracked open.
It just is so hard for them now to accomplish what their draft was for. They're never getting to show go. Ascilla is playing pretty on point with the Syndra after a couple of early deaths, and you've got a Jace that can not only just burn through you on the poke side of it, but also can dive in with the Viego. It's so hard for them to even get that first kill to let Mobility run wild, even if he is 4 items on this Jinx, having played such a marvelous early game.
Yeah, and in both games now, it seems like the kind of engage compositions have fallen short just a little bit. As I say that,
oh, they're going for Rhino, does flash out of safety, and look at all the damage that Jace does from distance. Sword channels the hero's entrance in, trying to get a big taunt forward, but can Winthrop step up with their low health bars?
Mobility?
Yes, they can if they knock down Keel, but Shogo off to the side with another clutch of seal a stun. Give the carries a bow. Oh, Miss Ace, and that might just do it here to force us the distance.
I didn't think Ascilla would be able to one-up himself so early here. A 3-man stun into now a 4-man stun to win the game here. Yeah, get this guy. Never give this guy Lissandra again. Let me see 1,000 games of Ascilla Syndra. This man is just a monster on the champion here. And Slayer, like you mentioned, we're going to go to a game 3. It's 1-1 apiece between 2 titans of the collegiate world.
Awesome to see that both of these teams have, you know, comps that they obviously have scrimmed to play for, both of these coaching staffs like, and they have really executed one apiece now. And it has been the 2 comps with a bit more range here, a bit more poke ability, which really makes a game 3 an intriguing prospect, should be that the fact that Ole Miss and Winthrop, you could really say, have won a game each playing pretty similar styles.
Yeah, I mean, Ezreal, 2-0 on the day so far. Right now, that might be the hotly contested pick here. But because Ole Miss ended up losing game 1, they had to go to side select for game 2. They opted up into choosing blue side. You've said you noticed that the losing team typically will choose blue side for their games. Winthrop might actually end up valuing that first pick. They might actually end up valuing that Ezreal a little highly here because, I mean, it just feels super tough to play, and especially when you're playing these like pick compositions, these engaged comps, you're never really reaching him after 2 items. The guy just has so much, cooldown reduction, his E, his Q. I mean, it just synergizes so well. And on top of that, cherry on top is that Ole Miss actually ended up rolling a Hextech Soul for the Soul, which just kind of increased their damage and their poke damage exponentially. I mean, just kind of all the cards fell into place here. Massive performance from Ascilla on this Syndra. I think Ole Miss executed their comp very, very well here. felt a little bit closer between both teams, but like you said, once that one big team fight happened in that mid lane, Asilla flashing over, getting that 3-man stun, that was the game. It broke open, right? It was kind of inevitable that Winthrop would lose here. Very, very well played. 1-1 apiece, Slayer. Man, I'm excited for game 3.
So excited. One more quick stat to throw out there. Shogo goes deathless on this Ezreal.
No
Ends with
surprise.
43k damage. The next closest Winthrop member was at 22k. So that's the difference of a Shogo Ezreal deathless performance. The guy that many are calling one of the next up-and-coming AD carry players in our region. But Shibby, what you said, sticking with me here. Game 3 coming. Week 1 of the new NECC format, and it is bared fruit that everybody's going to want a taste of. We'll be live with that Game 3 draft to see where Winthrop decided to land and who's going to come out on top in this one. Stay with us.
Oh man, this is incredible.
Wow.
Huh?
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
It is pretty cool. Hey man, grab me a meat stick. I think I can reach it if I just a little more. Just let me go a little. I can't. Just a little more. I almost got it. Careful! Oh God! No, come on, just reach. Reach. Just grab my hand. I can't hold. Grab my hand.
Give me the meat stick. This other hand's closer. The one with the stick is. Oh.
What am I supposed to say?
It doesn't matter. He's dead. He ain't listening to you anyway.
I'm hungry.
No, not in front of you. Put it away. I can't watch it. Oh, crap. Just reach in. You gotta pull it. Just grab it. Just take it out of his hand. What do you mean you can't?
He won't let go.
What do you mean he won't let go? He's dead.
Help me. Get in there.
No, just hold on.
Make him let go of it. No, I got you covered. Just go in for a hug. Go and get on in there. It's a bad loss. Yeah, hug him up. Just reach. Hug him up.
He's breathing.
On the other side.
Go.
I can't.
Just-
I can't do it.
Help me, Lord. Help me get over this loss.
I can't breathe.
Yeah, I can't breathe. I'm so upset. I can't breathe. Stop. You knock on wood so they go to heaven. It's like a lucky. Hey, get the stick.
Yeah.
Hey, do you the meat stick?
Yeah, I got it.
Hey, just hold tight for a second. They're moving the casket. Just hold tight.
Yeah, that's no worries. I got it.
Oh, what an awesome day for a pump, dude.
Yeah, I gotta take it easy. Doc says if I exert myself, I will die.
You overexert yourself, you will die.
I'll tell you what, you finish the workout, all these could be yours. That looks good. A little bit of honey ham for the ham. Get after it, and that's your get after it, and that's your treat. Hey, do the exercise, do the work, then you get the reward. That's how this works, man. You gotta give it max effort, maximum effort. That's what I'm talking about, baby. Big hams. Make it work, those hams. Work 'em. Putting in the work. Yeah, baby. Yes. This is a spicy workout. Gotta make it worth it. Building the beef and bringing home the bacon, baby. I'm loving it. Teriyaki is just about within your reach. Come on, get you some. Come on. Ooh, ooh. Maximum effort. Maximum effort. You're there. You're almost there.
That's so worth it.
what do you make of this up here? Just showed up in the yard a couple days
Is a
ago.
dog been digging in there?
I don't think so, dude. That goes way down in there. Seriously, did you just lose your meat stick?
Yeah.
Oh, no. There's something in there, dude. Just leave it.
Are you kidding me?
We'll just head to us. Just leave it.
The hell with that.
Oh, yeah, there's something in there.
Want one?
Thank you.
It was worth it.
Oh, man, this is incredible.
Wow.
Huh?
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
It is pretty cool. Hey, man, grab me a meat stick. I think I can reach it if I just a little more. Just let me go a little. I can't. Just a little more. I almost got it. Careful! Oh, God. No, come on, just reach. Reach. Just grab my hand. I can't hold it. Grab my hand.
Give me the meat stick. This other hand's closer. The one with the stick is. Oh.
What am I supposed to say?
It doesn't matter. He's dead. He ain't listening to you anyway.
I'm hungry.
No. Put it away. I can't watch it. Oh, crap. Just reach in. You gotta pull it. Just grab it. Just take it out of his hand. You just. What do you mean you can't?
He won't let go.
What do you mean he won't let go? He's dead.
Help me. Get in there.
No, just hold on.
Make him let go of it. No, I got you covered. Just go in for a hug. Go and get on in there. It's a bad loss. Yeah, hug him up. Just reach. Hug him up.
He's breathing.
On the other side. Go.
I can't.
Just-
I can't do it.
Help me, Lord. Help me get over this loss.
I can't breathe.
Yeah, I can't breathe. I'm so upset. I can't breathe. Stop. You knock on wood so they go to heaven. It's like a lucky. Hey, get the stick.
Yeah.
Hey, did you get the meat stick?
Yeah, I got it.
Hey, just hold tight for a second. They're moving the casket. Just hold tight.
Yeah, that's no worries. I got it.
Oh, what an awesome day for a pump, dude.
Yeah, I gotta take it easy. Doc says if I exert myself, I will die.
You overexert yourself, you will die.
I'll tell you what, you finish the workout, all these could be yours. That looks good. A little bit of honey ham for the ham. Get after it, and that's your nope. Get after it, and that's your treat. Hey, do the exercise, do the work, then you get the reward. That's how this works, man. You got to give it max effort, maximum effort. That's what I'm talking about, baby. Big hams. Make it work, those hams. Work 'em. Putting in the work. Yeah, baby. Yes. Dude, this is a spicy workout. Make it worth it. Building the beef and bringing home the bacon, baby. I'm loving it. Teriyaki is just about within your reach. Come on, get you some. Come on. Ooh, ooh. Maximum effort. Maximum effort. You're there. You're almost there.
That's so worth it.
What do you make of this up here?
What a treat at the end of January, the start of the collegiate season in the NECC. A top 5 bout, according to the Collegiate Esports League Hub, is going the distance. Best of 3, 2 pretty convincing wins for both our teams, Shibby. It feels like anybody could come out on top with this matchup.
Yeah, I feel like game 1 was a little interesting because, like we said, Ole Miss had the driver's seat for a bit. Otacon got stolen, and then, I mean, it's pretty hard to not have a convincing win after that, right? When you get the objective stolen as big as that, Winthrop kind of just took over. Game 2 felt a little bit more neck and neck, a little bit closer, but I think that big team fight from Ascilla, specifically getting that massive stun over, the dragon stacking happening. You said teams aren't prioritizing it as much because there's so much else to fight for, but the fact that they had Hextech Soul in their back pocket, they're able to pick that up before that next team fight that happened. Yeah, I mean, yeah, Ole Miss had a bit more control of the game, I would say. It was dead even gold at one point. I think only 35 did his best on the All-Star. I mean, that guy is just a maniac in his own right. I'm really excited to see kind of how he pans out later into the season, but man, has he had a damn good showcase. I would argue both of the new pickups, both Ascilla and only 35, some really highlight moments.
And Keel on the Viego jungle got the job done as well when we talk about him as a tank engage player. A lot of champions mentioned as big-time players in this draft. Time to get into that Game 3 draft, folks. Let's see what the bans look like, where these two teams decide to lie their priorities. Key stats for all you guys, all you stats people out there on our stream. One thing, Ezreal's 2-0 today, the only champion that's been reflected in 2 straight games. We'll see if that one gets banned away. And then for you Season 25 haters, yes, the team that got Voracious Otacon and Feats of Strength is the team that has won in our opening 2 matches. We'll see if that holds up as we begin our final draft of the day with a Rumble ban from the Golden Eagles.
Shocking. I'm not surprised. I feel like those stats, though, people use them. They're kind of haters. Like, it's almost like, the team that got Baron won the game. Shocker. Damn.
Yeah, the team that got Elder won the game. Oh, dude, this is OP.
Yo, it's busted. But we do get into the bans. Winthrop on the blue side, Ole Miss on the red side here. And you mentioned something, Slayer, earlier on, that usually the team that loses will just opt in for blue side here. This is the first time we've seen both of these teams on opposite sides of the map here. Ole Miss had blue side in game 1. They lost. Famously, they got that Skarner that has been so coveted, right? Been banned out in tons of regions. LPL,
there it is.
I think you said, has a 100% ban rate. If you're on red side, you kind of have to ban it out, in my opinion, unless you've got a damn good strategy to go against it. Winthrop did have one. They went for range. Hui plus Ezreal was able to just kind of outrange the Skarner, not really let him play the game here. But a lot of, kind of more top lane focused bans for Winthrop here, oddly enough. Trying to maybe reduce the counter pick potential for Ole Miss. I'm going to assume they're going to keep counterpick for their top side here, for Stray specifically. And I think reducing that impact, especially for Denethor, someone that's so focal to your team, I think that's a good move. I think it's a good preemptive kind of caution for them.
Powerful B1 picks here up are like Ashe and
Zyra.
Well, there's the Zyra, right? This has been banned a lot in the LPL. I've seen it. And it is going to be the next repeating champion we have in our standard draft here. So Wilson goes back to another Zyra draft. And oh boy, we get the Keel special. Okay, all right. Early game mastery. I like this, right? He didn't like Skarner into Zyra, but so he's going to the most comfort pick he knows, the Nunu into the Zyra, to still try and be that early engage tool for Ole Miss. And it's just Ole Miss comfort across the board right now.
Yeah, Keel, Nunu coming in, that's going to be a treat. Although I don't know how good it's going to do into this Zyra, who's obviously going to be faster at farming, has the ability to CC you in your snowball form as long as she keeps that root going. Like, it is tough. Granted, Nunu can just take a bite out of the plants. Vegans and vegetarians very happy about that one. So I think it'll be good. I think it's a mind game for both of these guys here. But
this is a run back draft. This is a run back draft from Winthrop right now.
Yeah, the Ezreal and the Hui coming in, although I do like Syndra into Hui. I think landing that stun is so crucial, especially if you have this mid-jungle combo where Nunu can start channeling the snowball from a mile away. I feel bad for Sword. He's going to have a much tougher time than he did in Game 1. Granted, it was Skarner and Lissandra. The damage that's coming out from Ascilla here on this Syndra is going to be pretty crazy here. Zyra was banned out in game 2, so I'm surprised that Ole Miss were so willing to give that back. But yeah, run back draft for Winthrop here from game 1, at least 3 out of the 5 pieces. Ole Miss, though, I think this is Shogo's 3rd unique champion out of the best of 3 here. He's going to pick up the Jhin for himself.
A champion I'm not too I don't feel like it is a Shogo champion, right? I'm not used to seeing a ton of Shogo Jhin, but I do like the change up that's coming across here for Colomar is that he recognizes, okay, if they're going to run back this draft with Zyra, Ezreal, Hui, trying to outrange us again, neutralize our engage tools, we're just going to have to bring some more range to the party. And you called out the Syndra, really good stun that can, is going to be able to hit this Hui and Ezreal when they're trying to power up. But Curtain Call from Jhin, Deadly Flourish from Jhin, there are few, if not any, abilities that outrange those capabilities for Shogo.
Yeah, it's especially tough because once that Curtain Call comes out, I mean, everybody looks to scatter here. And if you go one wrong way, if you go left while your team goes right, I'm sure Stray and Asilla will be hot on your tails. And now you've got a Karma, Mantra E inspired coming in on top of that. I mean, this team is quick right now. Now, might go to the top lane. I don't know if Stray will once again kind of denounce his religion and play a range top like Karma into Denethor. It is definitely something that Ole Miss can do. I want to say it's going to go into Rhino's hand, but there is always that 5% chance for Ole Miss that they just play Karma top. Oh. But Denethor's going to get... yeah, he's going to get one of his most prolific champions.
Yeah, so I would argue that we have 3 players on their most prolific champions in this game 3. It is going to be Denethor, Camille, it's going to be Asilla, Syndra, and Keel Nunu. As the Scion counterpick's going to come through here for Stray, try and neutralize that Camille. That will send the Karma bottom with Rhino. I like it. It's Shogo and Rhino playing not their usual type of dominant lane, but Karma and Jhin can really set each other up pretty well. And like we talked about, the damage comes from range, so maybe something new from Shogo and Rhino that we haven't seen. I like it. Everyone talks about, Enchanter players need to be able to play tanks and competitive, which is fair, but I'm kind of with the fact that some of you engaged players need to be able to pull out an Enchanter every so often, and maybe that's what Rhino's trying to do in 2025.
Slayer flipping the script right now, calling out the Unga Bunga engaged players, right? Oh, me press Leona R, me press Nautilus R, me do a good job.
Depth charge, I clicked the 80 carry. My job's done. Cool.
Yeah, I love this too. I think Only 35's gonna have a tough time right in that bottom lane. He's going to be walking on nails pretty much the whole time as Jhin and Karma, massive amount of range. They're going to be leveraging, guys like Shogo and Rhino are going to be leveraging that range advantage to its utmost efficiency. Mantra Qs are going to be whittling this guy down. I don't think Only 35 is going to have a fun time in this bottom lane. If he gets whittled down, even if he engages, he could just die immediately here. But we are on to game 3, the final game for week 1 of the NECC conference matchup here between Winthrop and Ole Miss. And I don't think these guys actually see each other until much later into the season, given the new format changes. So this week 1 matchup definitely sets the tone for both of these guys.
Sets the tone for Group B, sets the tone for power rankings, sets the tone for a lot of people's opinions on who could be a true CELO championship contender when we get to the spring. Ole Miss leaning towards their creative early playbook here. We're going to 5-stack towards the top side to force Wilson, the rest of Winthrop, out of that jungle, and maybe even initiate another one of those lane swaps. It does look like that's what we're going to get here, because I only see Stray channeling it back, so Shogo Rhino will try and just keep this Camille off the wave.
That's beautiful, right? Almost kind of exactly what Winthrop tried to do last game, right? The Mbessa and Jace, specifically keeping this Camille down. Like, Stray as Scion functions very well off of a little bit of gold, right? Like, he gets tanky, he has a passive that makes him tankier, right? He doesn't need as much gold as a Camille to be effective in the game. He's still going to have a giant engage tool. He's still going to have a massive CC effect, and Denethor tried to wait it out, still ends up eating a Mantra Q. As he's going to Eon in. Gets the shield, but yeah, Denethor's going to have a tough time in this top lane. You already see Only 35 channel the recall and going to go duo lane with his top laner, sapping XP away from him, which is going to give Stray a nice little EXP lead and will give him the initiative to make plays on the map because he should hit level 6 before Denethor.
It's a role reversal. You called it out. This is exactly the push that Winthrop went for in the early game of Game 2 and the response that Ole Miss had, bringing their support to cover their top laner. And only 35 is looking to really cause some hijinks here, just harassing Keel, who's trying to take this Gromp and Knight through. Gromp is doing a hell of a lot of work.
Whoa!
Only 35 flashes over the wrong wall, but then somehow guesses Keel's flash right. What just happened there?
I mean, Keel thought he had the strong side jungle, right? He starts with his bottom lane on the top side, but only 35 kind of being like, you know what? No, this blue buff, it's for Wilson. It's for my team. I'm going to fight for it. The Ignite goes down, right? Obviously, Keel took a ton of damage from the jungle monsters. I mean, tough is now they're going to look to flip it onto Wilson.
Yeah, Asilla didn't land. The stun only gets the knockback. Wilson trying to create some space here for Sword to cook, but Keel's here, gonna chop down onto Wilson, get his revenge, and Rhino has roamed down as well from the top side for Ole Miss, forcing Sword to burn his flash. A lot more gutsy of a Game 3 here. Everyone's throwing down the fisticuffs.
Do we get Ferocious Otacon here? Do we get the aggressive one
Ruinous?
now that these teams... Oh yeah, Ruinous. Sorry, Ruinous. I said Ferocious. Ruinous Otacon. Do we get the bloody Otacon here, right? The one that it promotes fighting.
Maybe? Oh, predicted! He's under the turret. I like the play there, though, from only 35, predicting the flash. That's Shogo's flash out. That is a very immobile Jin, nonetheless, to see if Winthrop can play for.
Yeah, both these teams getting active early. Both mid laners flashless here. I'm sure both these junglers salivating at the mouth. Keel, though, maybe looking to channel a snowball. Instead, he's going to go back to farming. But look at topside. Wilson has shown up. They're looking for a potential dive. I don't know if it's possible onto Shogo. He's at half health. He's chugging his potions along here. I think they're just going to play for this topside jungle because I believe Keel actually did end up getting the whole topside of Wilson. So he still has technically like a camp lead.
Power of Nunu. One of the few champions that go toe-to-toe with that Zyra clear. Re-engage coming across here, though. Denethor diving for Shogo, who is flashless. Rhino trying to provide space, does get the tether. Shogo gets back towards his own turret, has a crit shot loaded, and here comes Keel right in, the big old snowball. I don't think they have the route to stop it. Finally, it comes up for Wilson. They all dodge the snowball. 4 members Ole Miss are topside here, though. Can the route come across for Keel? Yes, he grabs both Wilson and only 35, but they can only capitalize on the kill on the Nautilus until Shogo hits a deadly flourish. But once again, nobody can get close enough. So the Land Sharks have to settle for 1.
Oh, the stun narrowly misses there. If it lands onto both, I'm sure both of those guys go down there. Ton of investment from both teams onto that top side, but Ole Miss walk away the victor. And they are 1 kill away from one of the first kind of indicators for that feats of strength here. Stray and Mobility have just been kind of farming it up. Everything's been happening on the top side. They've just been having a casual conversation. Yeah, they've just been kind of trading back and forth, minions abund, and really silently down 4 CS. Shogo?
Denethor? Wow! Just disrespectful backs Rhino and Shogo in the face of the top laner for Winthrop. Good play, though, from only 35 as well to pick off that flashless Syndra. And it's another game where Winthrop backdoor the Feats of Warfare goal. Now they're 1 step closer to upgraded boots.
Yeah, I think I've cursed it all 3 times, by the way.
I think
I'm
you
like,
have.
I was like, oh, they're 2-1. They just need 1 more kill. 2 kills go in the favor of the other team. All right, well, apologies. Sorry, Ole Miss here. As Grubs have spawned, as well as the dragon is up as well. Mountain Dragon, the first one on the menu. And Keel doing a good job on this Nunu, matching the clear of Zyra. It's tough, right? Zyra should be power farming. He should have a camp lead, but that kind of creative pathing in the top side, playing towards his strong side there. Yeah, he loses his life, but he took away every single camp on the top side. And now Wilson's kind of forced to play this reactionary game. He's going to go for these grubs. Only going to be able to take 1 so far for the moment. But it looks like both these teams are just going to trade grubs for dragon. And I like that. Play towards your strong side. Play towards where you have the numbers advantage. As I say that, let's channel the snowball.
Yeah, gonna hit it on the wall. It's an interesting little wrinkle that's different from the last game we saw with the lane swaps. Last time when we reached this, like, you know, out of the opening lane assignments, both bottom lanes ended up top side and both top laners ended up bot side, but it was the traditional matchups. But that's not what Winthrop want here. They had the 1v1 between Stray and Denethor up top, but they actually bring mobility back up to match the Scion and push Denethor back down to the 1v2 matchup, which I find pretty intriguing, but maybe it's because Denethor now has 2 kills, so the CS differential isn't as big of an impact.
Yeah, I mean, they also get Ezreal a really free lane, right? Like, he's allowed to scale up. He doesn't, and then obviously, you know, only 35 doesn't have to match Jhin Karma, which he's just gonna have a tough time anyways. So kind of keeping mobility in that side lane, in that solo lane by himself, one of the best weak side, quote unquote, you know, kind of 80 carries in the game right now. He's able to farm, build up that lead, get the Triforce, get the Manamune into that mid game, and only 35 is allowed to play the game, right? We've seen him kind of everywhere on the map. CC Abundance has been laning with Denethor as well, and it kind of increases their kill pressure, right? Especially with Denethor hitting level 6. If you get hit by a hook while Denethor is around, I'm sure if you're not Scion, if you're anybody else on this map, you're dead to rights. So it is tough. It makes this Denethor only 35 combo so much more potent.
Keel not tanky enough yet on what should be a tankier Nunu to survive that, so I think that's a great call-out, Shippy, and potentially could see that manifest in maybe the next couple of minutes. Should just be a farm off now unless anybody gets really over-aggressive. There's no grubs on the map yet. We're still about near maximum time for the next dragon to spawn. So with lanes returning to somewhat default, could get a farm off here, but mobility is going to eat the root here. Look to turn it with only 35 showing up here. Crit shot's not enough damage for Shogo. Rhino should fall. Great Mystic shot at the exact max range for mobility to find a kill. And Wilson's coming over to make sure Shogo can't find a trade. The crit shot once again isn't enough damage, and the Deadly Flourish won't find the trade. 2 more kills to the Golden Eagles.
Ole Miss getting a little bit desperate in that top side. Flash invested for virtually nothing there. Mobility has a kill. Obviously, now Wakao or Wilson's got one in his pocket, and a good roam from Sword to kind of dissuade anyone else there. As Keel is on this bottom side, maybe looking for a potential kill. I don't know if they killed Denethor here. These are just 2 big tanks.
Oh, they get the knockups chain. That's 1, 2, 3
lied.
as easy as ABC, but the turret ramping up is going to make sure it's 1 for 1. Shutdown claim, though, by Keel for the Land Sharks.
Yeah, they do kill him. Took a little bit of work, a little bit of elbow grease, but they do get the kill onto Denethor. 1-for-1 trade, though. Very, very well played for Winthrop. Very, very well played for Denethor. Right now, about a 1,500 gold lead for Winthrop here. Grubs are going to come back up. You're going to have to believe Ole Miss are going to look to try to deny that as much as possible, because it's going to inch them closer towards those feats of strength. It's going to have 2 neutral objectives to themselves if they pick up those grubs here. Obviously, as well, Ole Miss is going to inch them closer to that as well because they have the Mountain Dragon. Both teams posturing already, but again, Wakao on Zyra. Once these plants come down, once he starts getting a lot of these ranged plants going, it's super tough to kind of walk in here, even if you are Nunu, even if you are Scion. A lot of the AoE coming out from Game 1 in Game 3 right now with the Hui, with the Zyra, it's just tough to fight into for Ole Miss.
He doesn't have the steal there. You know, Nunu with the Chomp can almost always secure objectives over other junglers, but it's a couple HP bars off, and Wilson has another red buff steal. I think he did the same exact thing in Game 1.
Yeah, mobility.
Mobility. Dodges out the snowball. The shiftiness of this Ezreal is going to be tested with the curtain call coming out now. They do have Rhino rooted. Another well-timed two-shot barrage from mobility earns him another long-range kill. Curtain call, crit shot, not enough to find any low HP bar members, and Sword picks up Keel. Both carries for the Golden Eagles, soaring to a 2-0 start in the do-or-die Game 3.
And that's going to give Winthrop the grubs pretty much uncontested there. They tried to, you know, kind of get a, you know, punish onto Wilson there on the Zyra, but there's so much damage coming in. And Shogo, he's gone.
Got no summoners. He's going to be traded, but that's 80 carry for Marksman. Another positive win here for Winthrop, it feels like. Really churning these together now.
Yeah, mobility still stays on the map. Support for 80 carry trade. Shogo goes down as well as Nautilus here, but I believe only 35 actually ended up picking up that kill with that Ignite. So still not too bad, but a lot of gold being denied. Grubs being taken as well from Winthrop, and that 1,500 gold lead has now gone up to about 3,000, nearly for Winthrop here, and doesn't look like they're gonna kind of ease up on the gas.
They're also one epic monster There's a dragon spawning in 15 seconds for anyone who's interested. Away from getting feats of strength, because they got the feat of warfare. So even if the turret gets claimed here by Ole Miss, it feels like a near given that Winthrop are going to end up with those boot upgrades that are 2-0 in this series so far. As Mobility just poking down straight. He wants to get those damage numbers up for the post-game graphic.
Yeah, he's trying to beat the 44,000 from Shogo last game on the Ezreal. Right now, Ezreal 2-0 in the series. Winthrop had it game 1. Ole Miss had it game 2. And now Dragon being started up by Wilson because of that kind of aggressiveness from Mobility, poking out Sion. Let's see if Ole Miss are willing to contest this. Their jungle is warded. They're not going to be contested, so that's going to go over to Winthrop. It's going to give them those boot upgrades, 2-0. They've got both of the undefeated characteristics of this series. Ezreal is 2-0. Feats of Strength, 2-0. Winthrop, unfortunately, couldn't 2-0 Ole Miss. It's 1-1 apiece, but maybe they're going to look to 2-1 them as they are ahead a substantial amount of gold around the 13.5-minute mark.
Took 13 minutes to finally get a couple seconds of normal lanes here as well. Denethor and Stray top side. Mobility and only 35 bot side into the Karma Jhin. So we got there. It just took forever, nearly until plates were gone.
And maybe Ole Miss can pick up first turret gold for themselves. Kind of give themselves a bit of a consolation prize. As well as Kiel has opted in for that supportive Nunu build. Rhino.
Oh, Wilson gets
Is
the
dead?
stun down, has a Leandri's. Rhino nearly burns down Mobility. Arcane shifting forward, likes his odds with Shogo in the 1v1, who does have to reload after the crit shot, flashes away, only 35 trying to follow, but it's the Denethor flank. It's shooting like fish in a barrel right now, finds one for free, making a second. I didn't even see the Denethor TP, but that's what makes him such a potent top laner.
5-1 on the Camille. As the games change, as new patches come in, some things, like you mentioned, Slayer, just stay the same. Denethor Camille has not lost its sheen, has not lost its luster, as Kiel is now getting aggressed upon.
Depth charge, ignite over top, Mystic shots, nearly enough to get the kill for Mobility, but Sela will play Protector. Like you called out so eloquently, though, these last 5 minutes, it's just been all Winthrop.
Yeah, they just have been using numbers advantage, TP advantage. They've just been kind of forcing the issue onto the map. And Ole Miss haven't really had an answer. They haven't really been allowed to dictate what they're allowed to do in this game. And with the comp like this, you need to be able to start fights off, right? You want to get the deadly flourishes, the curtain calls to begin the fight. Asilla needs to hit a massive stun, right? Stray, I don't think I've seen Stray ult for a team fight once so far.
Only the dive. That one dive that split 1-for-1 was the only time we've seen the whole channel.
That's tough. I mean, eventually you get really tanky, right? Your front line of Sion and Nunu is a potent one, but are you going to be allowed to get to that point as almost 2 recalls do get stopped there? There's just so much damage coming out of Winthrop. You could just potentially ignore the tankiness, right? You've got percent health damage coming out from both Denethor and Wilson, who's built the Leandries. Obviously, Sword and Mobility. Once they hit 2-3 items, they're going to be nuking your tanks and your carries. Like, Winthrop's going to get to a point where they can just ignore all the tanky stats from Stray and Kiel here. A lot rests onto Asilla's shoulder right now.
Every second I get to watch Only 35. Cook, I just love it. He's just always in the face of Ole Miss, and
doesn't
that
care.
kill was committed there. He picks off Kiel and sets up the Western Winthrop. With Rhino is just caught on the wrong side of the fight, gets burned through. Spelling Despair locks up Asilla as well. What has gotten into Winthrop? They are blowing the brakes off this game 3, and one Severing Bolt may be the ceremonious finish in what's been 4 kills to nothing. Only the tank straight has survived for the Land Sharks, and he's trying to find a trade kill at only 35, but his Scion ultimate doesn't land, gets the knockup. He's gonna kill off only 35, but he used everything in his kit, and it's gonna cost him his life. 5 for 1. Winthrop blowing open game 3.
Stray doing the Thanos there. What did it cost? Well, damn near everything, as we see TPs being channeled.
We're getting
Kiel,
desperate.
Gotta look for Sword. I mean, sometimes desperation brings out the best in people, as Ole Miss looking for Sword.
Sword flashes over what should have been the stun. Kiel gonna splash a commit to get a snare here. No mana on Sword. He can't even try and fight back. This should just be picked up. He's gonna steal the Rift Herald away from Wilson, who's trying to save his mid laner. Objective Bounty picked up some extra gold, and Shelly Gonna go to the tune of a sword kill
Denethor's
as well, but
here.
here comes Winthrop trying to fly in. Denethor finds one, and suddenly, just when you thought Ole Miss had some free kills, they make another mistake, teleporting straight in, and it's gonna be 3 more back to the Golden Eagles.
He's taking off the money line. He's no more. No more. You're on the no parlay list, Stray. That TP gets channeled into 4 members of Winthrop. And that's going to give Winthrop most likely this tier 2 mid lane. Otacon is going to be spawning up very soon. Dragon going to be spawning very soon. I'm sure Winthrop, a bevy of objectives to take care of. They've got a sizable gold lead for themselves.
Knocking down 2 tier 2 turrets before 18 minutes. Pretty nice. Pretty nice indeed. Gold lead, you pointed out, just so inflamed by this point. But with the power of this Zyra, why not just turn for the Dragon? Hey, only thing that'll stop it is only 35, picking off people with dredge lines. Rhino on the Enchanter dies for a 6th time. Depth charge knockup, only 35, announcing himself to the NECC with clutch engage after clutch engage, and mobility just too shifty on the Ezreal. Stop me if you heard this song before. 3 kills for nothing in the name of Winthrop.
Curtain call comes out, doesn't really aspire to much. Well, Cow lives
They don't have
as
enough.
well. They just
They don't have enough damage, Shibby.
Yeah, Scylla's on 1.5 items, right? He doesn't have that oh-so-coveted second item he's going to. I believe it is Shadow Flame here. That might have given him the edge to kill Wilson there, but, I mean, this game is just all Winthrop, right? I mean, after picking up the feats of warfare, right, where they got those 2 kills on both sides of the map, it just felt like Ole Miss weren't allowed to play the game. They weren't really allowed to kind of dictate how they want to take these fights, where they want to fight. Winthrop just did not ease up on the gas. Denethor, beautiful TP usage as well. Multiple times breaking open team fights and just picking up a couple kills for himself. Even when he got lane swapped against. Even when he got XP denied from him, he just found a way. Denethor Camille coming in from 2024 into 2025 with the new coat of paint.
And we talked about it a little bit as we got into this game series. You know, the off season for collegiate. What did you expect from a lot of these players to spend their time with? No better story than mobility. The Saito.GG combine we've mentioned. He went and boot camped in Korea. Really impressive by a lot of metrics. Gearing up for this collegiate year and, you know, potential even NACL season. Man, he might be on another level here. Both of his Ezreal games have just been masterful. 9-0-8 right now. Not looking back at any time.
Yeah, Keel. Might just be
He's
dead.
dead.
Goodbye, sir.
1 for 4. He was trying to set a trap, and he's the one that actually gets trapped. Turn that right on your head, like we're playing a game of Sorry.
Tier 2 in the top lane is going to go down here, and Winthrop, I mean, they're just waiting for Baron, right? Remember the old Baron timer where, like, a team would be up 5,000-6,000 gold? It's like, all right, we got to wait 3 minutes. Right? It's like, nah, you got to wait longer. It's 5 more minutes until this Baron spawns. 5 more minutes until the base begins to be cracked open here as we go to that top side. I believe the Otacon is up there. Yeah, and Shogo?
Oh, my sweet Turkish tank. Only 35. Caught between 3 people. Oh, he got the revive right before he died, so even when they almost thought they had a pick, Voracious Otacon grants only 35 life once more.
Psych. Only 35 goes. It's a prank, guys. I'm leaving 200 gold for your troubles.
He calculated,
Yeah,
right? It's like, oh, okay. If I die right now, I'm going to get the buff 1 second before.
And they burned so many cooldowns for it, too. Curtain call game. I believe Stray invested his ultimate there as well on the Scion. Like, and he missed. I saw that. He just ran into a wall, unfortunately. Like, hey, Ole Miss, unfortunately, do have to get desperate. This pick composition, we'll call it, unfortunately, unsuccessful. Once again, range being the king, at least of this series so far. And Keel is getting
I just saw
the
this
lead.
happen. This happened topside at the same exact spot. Good Camille ultimate play. Somehow only 35 connects a dredge light onto Shogo. Depth charges Rhino, and why not dive through if you're Denethor? You've got Voracious Otacon revive. We're chasing you to your damn fountain at this point. Winthrop are in the base of Ole Miss between turrets, but they don't care. And it's the new look of League of Legends showing them why. Denethor jumping after Rhino, nearly at the fountain, gets rooted up. Can Asilla convert some of these revives? Not before Rhino
Rift
dies
Herald.
for a 7th time. Rift Arrow gets dropped in front of them in the base. This is pandemonium.
I'm kind of sad he didn't ride the Rift Herald to kill Denethor. That would have been a Chad move. But yeah, bottom lane tier 3 getting busted open here, and it's Tanks and Asilla. Let's see if they can at least stall out the game, and Denethor, sliver of HP, still hasn't gone down.
Shelly, get out. Oh, there goes Shelly. And this revive isn't going away anytime soon. Denethor really limit testing. Finally goes into the revive. Down goes another one. Sword, the only one left up as he loses his AD carry. Just knows he's going to have to go for a revive. This is the new look of League of Legends, folks. No kills in that entire escapade for Ole Miss.
No real kills, right? Couple hundred gold goes into the pockets of Ole Miss. I believe they ended up getting 600 gold off of that trade just because of all the Otacon respawns coming in.
But look at the
Dragon is
shutdowns
coming
they
up.
could have gotten. That's like, what is that?
Yeah.
Oh, that's nearly 1,500 worth of shutdown gold that they never would have had access to.
That's unfortunate. A lot of the Ole Miss players finally ticking over to that 2-item mark, but unfortunately, Winthrop have already started building towards their 3rd item. So power strength, power budget still in the favor of Winthrop. Denethor, the guy's just walking in fearless.
Yep, Hook Shot slings himself on top of Keel, roots him up with the Camille
Nice
once
Shogo.
more. He will survive. Unleash Power nearly claiming only 35, but Mobility is jumping over the walls of the base once more, sniping Mystic shots with ease as he goes legendary. And with the range of this two-form damage-dealing comp of Winthrop, Ole Miss can't get anywhere close. The closest they can get is a curtain call. But can Shogo even connect? The only person that should really be able to kill is only 35, who doesn't get touched. It's a rout. We may have went the distance, but Winthrop made sure it was a business expense at this point. 24 minutes in, and they're knocking down for 3 inhibitors, potentially, as Mobility flashes out of one knockup, trying to single out Shogo, but he'll turn his attention towards the much easier kill of Stray. Denethor goes dominating. Dominance by Winthrop University, and it's only a matter of time before this series is over.
Yeah, Baron is spawning in about 45 seconds here. Top lane inhibitor gone down. Bottom lane inhibitor is been removed from play. Mid lane is still standing, just by an inch as I say that. All right. Sliver of HP.
Oh, it's burning.
5 HP.
Oh, it stopped at 5.
Okay.
Holy.
Yeah, 5 HP on that mid lane turret. It's not going to regen nearly long enough for it to be of any significant difference maker. Winthrop recall. Base is broken. They're going to go for that Baron and effectively end the game here. Although Stray was decently tanky with these 2 items, and Keel throwing down that redemption. Like, you can see where Ole Miss comp is like, okay, this is what they were trying to do, right? This big front line. You can then fire away as many shots as you need on the Jhin. Asilla can hit a massive stun, maybe burst somebody out, but it's just a little, too little too late for Ole Miss's composition to actually come into fruition here. And Winthrop picking up that Baron 25 minutes in. Game is effectively over unless it's going to be like a massive misposition from someone like Sword or Mobility or Denethor, right? A lot of the shutdown gold also has to go into the right targets. If Keel picks it up or Stray picks it up, it's not really a difference maker. It's got to be Shogo and Asilla picking up these kills if they want any sort of percentage chance of turning this around. Like I said, highly improbable, nearly impossible.
Yep, now the formalities come through. Triple inhibitors down. Last stand up for the taking of Ole Miss. Only 35 poking and priming with some of these dredge lines. They're going to drop the unending despair onto Stray. And there's the main take, poke down. Diving in is only 35, gets the depth charge onto 2, and it's just mincemeat for the Land Sharks. They've been pulled out of the water and served up on the market by Winthrop University. A potential showing of what could be the CLOL Championship later on in the spring goes the way of Winthrop behind their dominating AD carry and new look roster. 2-1 series win to kick off the NECC.
I'm looking at you, CLOL Hub. Fake rankings, guys. Number 2, Ole Miss. Number 4, Winthrop. Come on, you got to change it now. You got to change. Quick edit. Do the X or do something. Winthrop do take it over 2-1 in a best-of-3 series to kick off week 1 of the NECC CLOL action here. And I believe Warhood said it. If both teams end up going undefeated after this. So if Ole Miss ends up winning all their games after this, from this point onwards in Group B, and obviously if Winthrop win all their games, if they go undefeated as well, they wouldn't see each other until the grand finals or the championship matchup for the NECC.
Wow.
Oh, that's going to be tough, right? That's something
is.
that's going to burn inside of Ole Miss for a bit here, because they got to contend with that week 1 loss. Very well played from Winthrop. Very well played from Only 35. A fantastic debut from him. I know it kind of got everything else got caught in the wind with Denethor picking Camille, having a massive performance. Also, obviously, mobility coming back from that boot camp, finding his Super Saiyan form. But damn, if Only 35, I mean, he just a maniac on the Alistar, on the Nautilus. I mean, this guy was just an absolute baller in every single right here. I like this Winthrop, but I will say this, Slayer. Winthrop has always given me hope early into the year, and then somehow, some way, they do kind of collapse here. So I think they're going to look to avoid that as we get later into the CLOL Championship.
Yeah, and looking back on this Game 3 draft, I like the idea from Ole Miss, but a comp with Nunu, a comp where you're relying on Jin as your marksman, you got to snowball. You got to have a snowball lead, at least in your carries, and that just didn't happen. You allowed the scaling of the Zyra Hwei Ezreal damage duo happen once again. I wouldn't even call it scaling for like maybe mobility. The guy had like 14 kills. He was fed out of his mind very early on. And Denethor, we've talked about it a couple times during the games. Him and mobility, I think, are this seems like a level up. I mean, at least the bar hasn't dipped. Those are the performances that you would get a couple of times out of Winthrop, especially like you mentioned early in splits from those two carries. The question for Winthrop's always going to be, can it continue forward? The one fun stat that I'm glad our great observer Caddy pointed out, if I'm doing my math correctly here, yeah, so mobility did edge out Shogo on the how much Ezreal damage can you do in a game. 48k. The closest Ole Miss member was Ascilla with 19. So mobility not only did more damage on the Ezreal than Shogo's, he had a bigger gap between the highest damage dealer on the enemy team as well.
Yeah, and it's weird, right? Because, Winthrop, 4 out of the 5 pieces are the same, but like you said, it kind of just feels like it's a bit of a different team, right? This team has kind of leveled up. They've raised their ceiling, per se. And I think mobility, one of those guys that's always kind of been ready, was ready last year for NACL, kind of proved it when he was brought on as a substitute and for the AoE roster, I believe, and it just kind of like he was the best player on that team. No offense to the other guys, but like he was damn near looking good there, right? When he was that sub, and that, like you said, the Saito GG boot camp on top of him going to Korea, on top of him like doing all that stuff. I think, you know, we're primed for a breakout, let's call it, year for mobility if he can keep up the performances like he did in this series, especially going up against one of the better teams in all of CLOL. But Slayer, I think that's going to do it for us, right? We're good. It's a best of 3, 2, 1. No more League of Legends for the day?
No more League of Legends. No more Voracious Opticon haunting the dreams of League players here from the NECC. It's been an absolute pleasure to step on this broadcast for the first time with one of my good friends, Shibby. As always, man, you make me laugh. It's fun chopping it up, talking League of Legends with you. Shout out to our production team, our producer, Hippie, our observer, Caddy. Make sure to stay locked at NECC socials as all of League of Legends Collegiate starts to get into full swing, and there'll be more action week in and week out from one of the best conferences in Collegiate League of Legends. Until then, enjoy your weekend. Go Birds on Sunday, and we'll see you when we see you. Take care.
What do you make of this up here? Just showed up in the yard a couple days ago.
Dog been digging in here?
I don't think so, dude. That goes way down in there. Seriously, did you just lose your meat stick?
Yeah.
Oh, no. There's something in there, dude. Just leave it.
Are you kidding me?
We'll just head to the house. Just leave it.
The hell with that.
Oh! Yeah. There's something in there.
Want one?
Thank you.
Mm-hmm. It was worth it.
Oh, man, this is incredible.
Oh, wow.
Huh?
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
It is pretty cool. Hey, man, grab me a meat stick. think I can reach it if I just a little more. Just let me go a little. I can't. Just a little more. I almost got it. Careful! Oh, God. No, come on, just reach. Reach. Just grab my hand. I can't hold it. Grab my hand.
Give me the meat stick. This other hand's closer. The one with the stick is. Oh.
What am I supposed to say?
It doesn't matter. He's dead. He ain't listening to you anyway.
I'm hungry.
No. Put it away. I can't watch it. Oh, crap. Just reach in. You gotta pull it. Just grab it. Just take it out of his hand. What do you mean you can't?
He won't let go.
What do you mean he won't let go? He's dead.
Help me.
I'm not gonna-